How is everyone doing tonight? We are booming. Destined Rivals cannot be stopped. Timmy McGee says late. I was looking at my clock as I clicked go live. 2 seconds after I clicked it, it turned to 9:01. But yeah, we are booming. Let me know if the audio and everything is good. Ever since I played my 90s country music through my microphone to you guys, I'm conscious about making sure the audio is good, and I do believe it is. But yeah, so I have a little bit of a rant to go on to start this live stream. I put my title as Destined Rivals cannot be stopped, question mark, exclamation point. I forgot the exclamation point. But it feels like people are losing their minds. I think most minds have long been lost. Ponga in here before I went live saying you can't be stopped. We will not be stopped. Catch 'em all collectibles is booming, as is the market. We will not be stopped anytime soon, but I feel like people are just losing their minds more than normal, if that makes sense. I'm not a big TCG player chart guy. I'm not a big like here's the price moves, and I show you my walk here. Like, walk along with me on this journey through this boom, through these navigating these market ebbs and flows and changes. Which ebb, flow, I don't know which one's up, which one's down. We are only ebbing or only flowing, whichever one's up. That's what we're doing. I don't know which one it is, but yeah. So 151, nearly $600 a booster box. People can't stop talking about it. Reasonable too. Like I'm kind of teasing. I'm gonna kind of pick on it here, but Dan, you've been so wrong. Dan, you said that Destined Rivals could go under MSRP. And I'm going to address some of that commentary. It's still not, like, Destined Rivals is not walking yet. I think my kids started walking 10 months, 11 months, shortly before their first birthday, somewhere around their first birthday. Destined Rivals is, like, 9 months old, I believe, May 30th. So, yeah, it'll be, it was just 8 months old, so it's not even yet 9 months old. And it's going to, like, hurt some people's feelings, and people will think mine have been hurt thus far. I don't care, but like I have to talk about it because it's what everyone's talking about. I don't care that I've been wrong and that Destined Rivals hasn't gone down. I need to dig up the clips at some point. I think I did dig up a couple the other day in Discord, but I'll say this again. I've said this before. This is not Dan catching up. This is not Dan flip-flopping. Destined Rivals, by its birthday, could be a $1,000 booster box. Destined Rivals, before being 2 years old, could be a $2,000 booster box. That's always been a potential. Look at silver. Silver is like a real traditional market, right? Look at the crypto. Look at Bitcoin, 120,000 peak, 80,000 now. That's trillions of dollars moving up and down. Destined Rivals booster boxes? I care. You care if you're listening. This is a Pokemon channel. But like, who the hell cares? Who the hell cares what 360 cards random children's playthings cost and are worth? That box should go to $10,000, and most people in the world will go on living their normal day, and no one will know and no one will care, frankly. Frankly speaking, it is such a minuscule market. It is only hundreds of millions of dollars, right? Like even Greyfelt hat, Burger Chew. Think of the craziest things that go on in the hobby. They are in the millions. They're not even in the billions, let alone trillions. So like collectible, speculative items, assets, whatever you want to call them, these can do anything. Like logic, reason, sanity, over time, over long periods of time, things are more logical, but they're not purely logical. They're not purely reasonable. All this stuff is made up. All this stuff is whatever the market says it is. So there's a little bit of like ranting disclaimer. Simultaneously, Destined Rivals 6 months, a year from now, could be a $2,000 booster box. Simultaneously, it could be a $200 booster box again. I guarantee, Dan, there's no amount. You're just wrong. You're wrong. You would have been guaranteeing Vivid Voltage couldn't have been 200, under 200 again 5 years or 10 years ago, whenever the hell that was. You would have been, or sorry, Vivid Voltage. My mind was already going to Roaring Skies. So 5 years ago, you would have been guaranteeing Vivid Voltage couldn't have gone under 200. And then 10 years ago, you would have been guaranteeing Roaring Skies couldn't have gone under 200 or 100, certainly. But it got up to 300, and then it went down to 100. History lesson, nobody cares, blah, blah, blah. Everything's different. Who cares? But one thing I'll push back with, not even pushing back, but like opening people's eyes. People lose their minds over Destined Rivals. Destined Rivals is one set of over 100 sets. If you're an investor, if you're a collector, it's like, if you're a collector and you've master setted every other set and you have every other, and Destined Rivals is the last one you need, I understand you being a little bit frustrated. I don't think you exist though. That theoretical person that I'm talking to doesn't exist. If you're an investor and you just like, if you're glossing over all the other options out there, and I'm gonna, I just thought of one as I was ranting. Said this before, but I'm gonna echo something that I've been saying for the past year and that I still stand by. So we are going to go to screen. Hopefully I'm not showing my desk. I need to actually flip some stuff over. I have 1099s on my desk that have my social security number and everything. So yeah, let's not show that. I'm gonna cover my camera just in case when I go to the two. Okay, so we are on TGG Player. I didn't check that before I went live. I should not have 1099s on my desk as I do. But anyways, Destined Rivals. Less than a year old, $500+. Everything's crazy. Like, okay, I get it. It is crazy. I agree, it is crazy. But like people getting so FOMO-y, like, oh man, I need to go buy it now because I'm gonna miss out. It's fine missing out. There's no call strikes in Pokemon. There's no call strikes in investing. All the stuff that I always say, that stuff still applies. I don't know why. Like if you love Destined Rivals, and I would have said this, I definitely said this, I would have said this if asked 8 months ago. If you have the money and you're a consumer and you're just collecting and you make, whether you make 50 grand a year and all your stuff's in order, or you make 500 grand a year and all your stuff's in order, and you value the experience of opening 36 packs of Destined Rivals to the tune of $250, who the hell cares? I go to my Rangers team, they just traded away Panarin. They're rebuilding, restructuring, whatever we want to call it. They're a nightmare right now. And I'm going to go spend $500+ going down to New York City at the end of March to watch a terrible team play a game of hockey. So it's like, I'm not one to speak about anything. Everyone values different things differently. But as I said, back when Destined Rivals was $250, back in July when it was $250, back at release when it was $300, all through here, I said two things. I said that if you have to compare a one-to-one, like, Destined Rivals is not the only thing. Some people act like it's the only thing. If you want to invest in Pokemon, you have to buy this or you can't buy anything. That doesn't exist. That's not a thing. So what I was saying back then, two things. 151, almost 2 years old. In my opinion, a significantly better set. Crown Zenith is another example that I'll show. In my opinion, Crown Zenith is a significantly better, like not even close. Crown Zenith is high S tier. Destined Rivals is like A tier maybe, but there's some spread between them. Two things. Crown Zenith 151, they are both more likely to double and less likely to halve in price. So if you had told me a year ago, which I have the prices pulled up, and there's definitely clips of me saying this, I don't delete videos, they're all out there. If you had told me, Dan, here's 10 grand, put it in something. This is what I would have done and what I also did do. A year ago today, 8 months ago, 10 months ago today, all throughout different times. Thanks, Pokey and Fun, for being a member for 15 months. But I bought thousands of Crown Zenith packs. Over 10,000 Crown Zenith packs, actually, a little bit over a year ago. I bought thousands, over 10,000 packs of 151, actually, several months to a year ago. And so here's 151 booster packs. When they were $9 a pack, $10 a pack, I was buying them for anywhere between $8, $9.50, $10 a pack. $8 to $10 a pack. I was simultaneously buying these. And I said, you know why I'm buying these over Destined Rivals? I said, because two things. They're more likely to double, in my opinion, and they're less likely to halve. Anyone with a brain, in my opinion, like, lights aren't going to go red, but we're going to get close. Anyone being reasonable at the time would have and could have agreed. And I think did agree. And what do you know it? What do you know it? I said, hey, I could be wrong, but I think this is more likely to double, less likely to halve. So this is what I'm buying, and that's why I'm buying it. And look at these. Sub 200, now above 400, 151 ETBs. I wasn't buying ETBs specifically, but I bought thousands and thousands of packs. I was buying them. I think the lowest my hot buy list I forgot was like 825 or 850. And I was buying a lot of them at $9 a pack when it was between 9 and 10, $11 a pack. So 9 to 19, that's a doubling. 250 to 550, that's a doubling, right? Like these all have doubled. I think it was significantly harder. It's significantly more surprising that Destined Rivals has doubled. But again, Dan, hey, Dan, it's February 4th. It's February 4th. You've got $10,000. What are you going to buy? Not this. It's not 2 years old yet. Yes, if it gets reprinted, it might not be booster boxes. It might be this. It might be that. It might be the other thing. I have my 4 cases set back. I truly don't know what the prices are going to do. But I, dollar for dollar, pound for pound, I would buy 151 loose packs still. I am buying 151 loose packs still. I would buy 151 bundles. I would buy Crown Zenith ETBs. I would buy, and two things too. I think I'm more likely to be able to buy Crown Zenith ETBs at 80-85%. I actually did just get some relatively recently in a pickup, and Brilliant Stars booster boxes. This one blows my mind more. This is the one that I thought of as I was ranting. Dollar for dollar, pound for pound. The buy box is the same amount of money. Actually, Destined is $8 more expensive because the buy box for Brilliant has shipping included, and the buy box for Destined is $8 shipping. Dollar for dollar, pound for pound. 5 years from now, Destined could be $5,000, and Brilliant might only be $4,000. Destined might outperform it. But if I was a gambling man, which I am, if I had to choose between the two, what would I buy today? I would probably have to pay 90% to get Destined. I could probably find somebody to shake some loose at 85% for Brilliant. Dollar for dollar, pound for pound, I'm taking Brilliant all day long. Might be wrong. I might be wrong. Destined might outperform. But to me, it is lunacy. To me, again, which one is more likely? Is Destined to 1,000? I don't care the time frame. 6 months, 10 months, 10 years, 100 years. Destined to 1,000 or Brilliant to 1,000? Which is more likely? To me, it's not close. It's Brilliant. In any time frame, I think Brilliant to 1,000 is more likely to happen first. 2,000, 5,000, 10,000. And then same thing. What are the odds? What are the odds that Brilliant goes to 250? What are the odds that Brilliant goes in half? It could happen. Absolutely, there are worlds where Brilliant goes to 250. I actually just had a call earlier today with Pokey Plumber. Just called me up and we chat a little bit about the hobby and the market and the bullishness and all the crazy stuff. And we specifically talked about Brilliant Stars. This is something that I said, I took a note of it too. But where did the note go? But yeah, so if and when Brilliant, let's do the doomsday scenario that Brilliant goes in half. Brilliant can only go down, and I'm gonna say something here. Brilliant's not being reprinted. Brilliant is not gonna get more booster boxes. Destined is definitely getting packs. We don't know if it's gonna get boxes. We don't know if it's gonna get ETBs, bundles. It just got bundles. But we know Destined is getting more print. We just don't know what configuration. Booster boxes are the easiest configuration and then the most pack dense configuration to put them in. So it's reasonable that it could happen. For Brilliant to go down by 50%, it wouldn't be a supply thing. The amount of supply that's out there is out there. It only goes down as people rip it. Not many people probably ripping it, more people probably ripping loose packs. But Destined's only path to dropping 50% is purely market sentiment. It is purely, and there's people with a pallet out there of it, I'm sure. Somebody being stupid with a pallet, dumping it all in one auction block and one consignor or whatever. But the only where Brilliant goes down 50% is market sentiment. In every world, in every parallel universe where Brilliant goes down 50%, I think Destined would too. How could Brilliant get thrashed that bad without anyone worrying about Destined? And then another way that Destined can get hit, not just by sentiment, not just by the Dow dropping 40%, a recession being declared globally, Bitcoin going down 40, 50, 80% like it has historically, silver continuing down another 50% or whatever, trillions and tens of trillions of dollars being wiped out off the face of the earth, as it is every decade, every couple decades or whatever. These things happen. layoffs happening in mass, unemployment happening in mass. That could cause Brilliant to go down 50%, and Destined would come with it. Now, a different universe. Market's booming, market's going crazy. Pokemon maybe a little bit ahead schedule, but Pokemon pays the good contractors to speed up. They get their printing online before 2028. They get it online by 2027 because we're booming. We're booming. They 10x the amount of labor, workforce. They get that 1.2 million square feet. They buy more, they lease more, they build more. They go bigger. And they print Destined for 2 more years. Destined could go down 50% solely by printing. Solely by the amount of printing going towards that. Pokemon's been crazy in the past. There's certain things they go back to. There's certain things they don't go back to. Absolutely. It could be a team up. It could be a team up. They don't come back to it. And it could run away. But I'm fine missing. I'm fine missing. The way that I missed in the last year, I missed into Brilliant Stars, which also doubled. I missed into 151, which also doubled. I missed into Crown Zenith, which also doubled. And simultaneously, the upside was just as high, in my opinion, higher, and the downside was way lower. And again, this channel, oh, let me get rid of the fisherman. This channel, I'm not trying to convince anyone of anything. I frankly, I don't care. It's kind of a mean thing to say, but I've got to say it. It bears repeating. Most of the people that are so vehemently Destined Rivals to the moon, I knew this, I knew that, guaranteed. Destined Rivals cannot go below 500, guaranteed. There's a new floor set, new floor, new normal, live streaming, TikTok, Fanatics, eBay, whatnot, all this stuff. It can't go down. Disproportionately, the more people are like that, guaranteeing things, the less product they have, the less experience, the less knowledge they have. They're the same kind of people that guaranteed Vivid wouldn't do what it did, that guaranteed Roaring wouldn't do what it did. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it's like I have my dollars where I feel comfortable for me, for my situation, and you should have your money where you feel comfortable, where you feel they will work best for you. Everyone out there, whether you are a collector, investor, flipper, speculator, scalper, whatever you are, have smart goals, have specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-based goals. But my goals are financial independence as soon as possible. Net worth-wise, I'm there. I've exceeded my FI number. I want to have financial independence secured fully, wholly in tax advantage accounts. So that's my long rant and ramble. That's my 20-minute rant and ramble to start out. We are absolutely booming. I thought there was another note that I came up with in my chat with Pokey Plumber, but I thought I noted it down and I'm not seeing it now. Maybe it was just that. But another thing too, and going back to like I don't know. Frankly I don't know what's gonna happen. And more people need to say that because that is the actual oh, I knew Destined was gonna do this, that, the other thing. Oh, you knew? Well, show what color is your Bugatti? Show me your gains. I didn't know, and I have 4 cases. So I have this is disgusting to utter these words. I have $14,000 worth of Destined Rivals cases. No, that's not 30 cases. Historically speaking, $14,000 of an 8-month-old set. So there's been over 100 sets released in Pokemon's history. 8 months after the set was born, 8 months after the set was released, $14,000 for 28 out of 30 years of the Pokemon. Let's be conservative. I know 2000, 2001, we were booming for a little bit there back then. For 25 out of the 30 years in Pokemon's history, you could buy $14,000 of an 8-month-old set would get you 30 cases. It would get you $450 to $500 cases is the historical norm. I know MSRP is higher. The borders aren't yellow anymore. I know. But we're not talking 20 cases. We're not talking 25, 30 cases. We're talking 4 cases. I didn't know, and I had 4 cases because I knew I didn't know. I knew that this was a possibility. This was 99th percentile bullish outcome scenario, and I didn't expect it, but I knew it was a possibility. And one common thread amongst many, Dan, I told you so. They don't have $14,000 worth of Destined Rivals. Oh, Dan, you've got a lot more capital. You've got a lot. Well, if you know everything about the Pokemon market, if I knew 10% of what people think they know, I would be a centimillionaire. I don't get, like, I started with $5 grand 12 years ago. If I knew 10% of what these dummies think they know, the guarantee Destin can't do this and that and the other thing and prismatic and whatever. If I knew 10% of what they think they know, I would turn $1,000 on January 1st into $1 million on December 31st, and then I would turn it into 10 million and then 100 million. Like, if you know the market that well, you're a moron if you haven't 10x your money. Like, and the more zeros you get, the harder it becomes to 10x. I would probably be able to turn 1 million into 10 million, 10 to 100 within a year. That would be tougher. But most of these people have $5 grand. If you knew things like you think you know, I would be able to turn $5 grand into 500 grand the first year, 100x easy. That small amount of money, 100x that easy. If I knew 10% of what these people think they know, I definitely should have had my legs right there, but alas, I did not. But the pallet exists for exactly what is occurring today. But let me pull this pallet up. Let me pull the pallet up and talk over that again. I will do a full video. And keep leaving your questions in the comments. I'm doing my rant thing. I'm going PK style. Congrats again to PK last week. Saturday we had our mega stream. We sold $92,000. We are booming. We sold PK sold $92,000 in an 8-hour stream on Saturday. Sealed, slabs, singles, all the good stuff. Congrats to PK for 1 year full time. But I mean, borrowing his style of YouTube video, rant like mad, and then answer every question. I don't think he does every question, but I do every question. So ask him out there, and I will get to them eventually. If you want to skip the line, we do have a paywall. We do have a paywall procedure. If you super chat, I will pause my rant. I will go answer your question immediately. 99 cents is all it takes. That is there. The paywall is there if you want to skip the line. If not, it might take 45 minutes to get to your question, but I promise I will get to it. I guarantee I will get to it as long as my chat doesn't refresh and screw me over and lose my backlog. But continuing on. So the pallets. Let's go to the pallets. So this whole experiment, just to give a refresh, this entire, I call it an experiment, investment experiment, whatever you want to call it. I've been investing by the pallet with my dad since May of 2024. Because you know what May of 2024 was? May of 2024 was one of those times that happens periodically in the Pokemon hobby. When I say periodically, it happens like all the time in the Pokemon hobby. I think it will happen again. I started pallet 1. Every one of these, how many cases is this? Every one of these 36 cases of Scarlet Violet, I got laughed at in the comments. Dan, top signal, Dan's invested in Pokemon with his dad. Dan's selling his dad all these bags. Dan's selling his dad all these bum investments. And they were cases, all these cases were under $500 a piece. Last time we had cases available under $500 a piece, you know what I said to myself? I said, hey, 2020, 2021, 2022, that was a wild ride. That might happen again. I think the odds of that happening again are pretty decent. Bullish on Pokemon, short plastic, long cardboard, as I always say. But I said, you know what? I'm going to force myself, because I've been around since XY Phantom Forces. I've been around since XY Phantom Forces. And back then, I used to set back cases of product. I didn't have as much money. I was setting back a case or 2 cases of product and a couple boxes of product, whatever it was. And I've always intended to hold it. As people always say, I'm going to hold it for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 50 years, whatever it is. I'd always think that I was going to hold it for XYZ. And I never did. Because I thought I'd hold it till my money doubled. I said, hey, if my money doubles in 5 years, 10 years, that would be great. I'd be thrilled. If I take $1,000, put it on my shelf, and 5 years later, I can clear $2 grand with it. That's amazing. I just doubled my money. And it always happened sooner. It always happened in 2 or 3 or 4 years. And sometimes it was tripling and quadrupling within 3, 4, 5 years. So I always sold it all. I didn't even sell most of it. I sold all of it. Back in the day, it only used to be a case or two. The pallets, it like specifically happened for this reason. I said, I woke up in 2024 and I'm like, I've been here since 2014. Phantom Forces, like since XY, Sun, Moon, Sword, Shield, and I have nothing to show for it. Lot of dollars, lot of inventory to show for it. But I've had distribution for 12 years, and I had functionally no product to show for it. So I'm like, what happened? What happened over this past decade? In May of 2024, I looked back, and I'm like, what? It's hard to say what went wrong, because everything went very right. But like, what went wrong? Why do I not have X, Y, and Sun and Moon cases still? Why do I not even have Sword Shield cases? All these cases that I put on pallet 1, these were all relatively recently, like freshly bought back then. Maybe some of these were from my original allocation. But like Evolving Skies, I had none. Fusion, I had none. I had just been allocated these sets only a few years prior, and I had none. I said, hey, I am putting my foot down. I am putting a stop to this. Paper Hands Dan, you are being locked up. You are not being allowed access to these booster cases anymore. So I said, hey, Dad, you want to, over the years, I've talked about it before. I talked about PSA 10 base first Charizards with him when they were $5,000. I talk about base set first edition booster boxes with him when they were $10,000. And I never got him to dip his toes in. And then we ended up having a conversation, and I said, let's start like building some pallets together. Let's start investing in this stuff. Everything's cheap. Everything's achievable, reasonable, under $500 case. So let's go for it. And so I don't want to be Paper Hands Dan anymore. He's a thing of the past. I'm going to force myself. I'm going to force myself to hold this till 2030. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to put a video out on YouTube, a place where I'm very consistent and I'm always there and I'm always open, honest, transparent. I am not selling. I am not selling this stuff. In 2030, we'll revisit. We'll talk about it. But in 2030, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take pallet 1 and I'm going to break down half of it. And I'm going to take pallet 2 and I'm going to break down half it. And I'm going to merge pallet 1 and pallet 2, sell half of each. And I'm going to build pallet 10, 11, and 12 with the proceeds that come from selling half of pallet 1 and half of pallet 2. But the only reason I have these, if I didn't have these pallets off-site, half owned by my dad, I would have sold all this. I so want to sell my 4 cases of Destined. I so want to do it. But I know that if I sell them today, I would have 13, 14 grand. But I know next year, those 4 cases might be $24,000. People call me a bear, and it's hilarious. It's hilarious how people with significantly less portion of their net worth, some with more of their net worth, but like a lot of people with significantly less invested into Pokemon, percentage-wise, absolute dollar terms-wise, me having my job, my livelihood in this stuff, and they call me a bear. Like, the definition of a bear to them is having a brain and logic and reason and knowing that I have no control over this stuff, knowing that it could go down. But like, I simultaneously say, I'm not afraid of it going down. I am also I'm holding 4 cases of Destined Rivals. Most people that call, Dan, you're a paper hand bear, you don't have, like, you're saying Destined Rivals could go down. I have more than you. What are we talking about? It's absolute, like, actual lunacy. But I promise you this. If the cases didn't exist, if I didn't start this whole experiment and put it out there to my accountability team, you guys have formed these papers. We have crushed these into diamonds. These are now diamonds because of those videos, because of you guys. I would have sold all this. If I saw these day after day, if I saw my $3,600 Destined Rivals cases, I would have sold all of them. I would have sold all of them so quickly. So that's why the pallets exist. In May, I will do the 2-year birthday update. Like, subscribe, follow along the journey of the pallets. I will do 2-year, 3-year, 4-year, 5-year. I will every year I will check in. My dad will probably be here in 2 or 3 months to recap. Like, hey Dad, this is insane. What's going on? Why are we so Poke rich? My dad has more Pokemon than your dad. That's gonna be my new retort. That's gonna be my new retort when somebody says, Dan, I can't believe you're so bearish that you think Destined will go. What are you talking about bearish? My dad has more Pokemon than your dad. My dad has more Destined Rivals than your dad. That's gonna be my new retort. Not even what I hold. Because again, too, like, one of my big things I've been saying for the past year, I care more about the packs. Let me pull up the number. I love numbers. I'm gonna hit you with a number. Shout out to Alex Nostalgianomics earlier today. He did a video where he actually he's more like a fly by the seat of his pants. He doesn't like do a lot with numbers, but he gave firm numbers on what he sold the first week of release for Destined, the first week of release for Journey, and it was cool to hear him. So go check out that video. I'm not going to spoil. I wrote down the numbers. I might reference them later, but go check out his video. But in 2025, Destined Rivals was not around all of 2025. It was only around from May 30th, I believe, until the end of the year, 6 months. We sold 16,000 packs of Destined Rivals. We sold a lot of it, and I have a lot of packs. Again, let me pull up a different spreadsheet to show how many I have right now. But I just got the booster bundle restock. I'm not selling any of them yet. Short term, I'm kind of hanging on to them for a minute, see what happens. I have 3,000 to 4,000 loose packs of Destined Rivals. I'm getting more all the time. I'm getting allocated more. They come in products. I break them down. I send them to PK. I send them to Pongo. We rip them on the live stream. But I've got a lot of the stuff. Relatively speaking, like I have a decent amount. I'm not in fear of not being able to find it. It's out there. It's out there for sure. It's expensive, but it's out there. So that's who I am, where I come from on this whole Destined Rivals thing. People just lose their minds. And you know what happens? You know what happens too? Is people that can't afford to. People that can't afford to lose 50% of their money. They buy it. They FOMO. They buy it at 500. And for all we know, maybe it goes to 1,000. Maybe all they go into the casino with money they can't afford to lose. They shouldn't lose. And they hit green zero on the roulette wheel. And they hit blackjack, hit the side bet. They match the dealer, match suit, and 28 to 1, double match suit. That's not amazing. Honestly, if you are one of these people that turned $2,000 into 10 grand with Destined Rivals, or that's the thing, it wouldn't have even been that. It would have been $2,000 to $4,000 or $5,000 if you got it at the very bottom, 250, 240, 230, whatever. If you're one of the people that turned 2,000 into 5,000 with Destined Rivals, that might be one of the worst things for you. Some of those people will grow up, and they'll double down. They'll double down with 90% of their net worth on leverage. Oh, Pokeplumber too. He said it in his video. That's another thing I meant to reference. My line of credit. So I did recently get a $250,000 line of credit through Chase for cash flow purposes. I paid it off. I paid it off this morning. I actually in Discord I sent a couple screenshots. I've got receipts. Let me show my receipts so that I can get that off my chest, because Plumber scared me. Plumber scared the hell out of me. I had to do a double take. I had to refresh. So at 10:50 a.m., you can see right here the time. I made sure to include the time. I'm not good at Photoshop. This is not Photoshop, I promise. I had $150,000 on a line of credit that I bought a couple $100,000 worth of collections over the last couple of weeks. I did it on a line of credit. I did it with debt, with leverage, with other people's money. And then as of let me refresh it. 1 minute later, I put a payment in, and as I record, as I come to you live tonight, my current balance is $0. I paid it off. But in the next breath, after Pokeplumber said, man, I can't believe how bullish people are. I can't believe how crazy everyone's getting. Dan, Catch 'em All Collectibles. He's got a $250,000 line of credit now, he said. And then the breath after that, he said, I have 5 friends that are taking their 401k out, and they're putting that into stuff. That's the kind of stuff that, like, hey, maybe they'll 10x their money before they lose 50% of their money. Maybe they'll be fine. But those are the kind of people that lose everything. Those are the kind of people that end up in a divorce. Those are the kind of people that honestly, they play fast and loose. They go hard, they go crazy, and sure, some of them outrun it. Some of them, karma doesn't exist. Law of large numbers. There's so many people doing it that some of those people will turn into billionaires, but most of those people will ruin themselves financially. That is not even, I'm not even going to say in my opinion. Most people with the kind of sentiment, with the kind of brain that is like, hey, an 8-month-old set, I'm gonna pull out my 401k. And I'm going to put it in $500 Destined Rivals booster boxes. You might make money, but you are the kind of individual that is more likely to go bust than not. You are very likely to lose it all in scenarios like that. Like that is a degeneracy I have never participated in. I never will participate in. I've always said, like, I'm never going to be a billionaire. I might accidentally become a decamillionaire, because of Pokemon, which is an insane thing to say. I realize how insane it is as I say it. I might accidentally become a Decamillionaire because of the Poke Pallets, because of the Pokemon business, because of all that stuff. I am confident I will never become a billionaire because I will not take my 5 million and put it all into something, and my 10 million and put it all into something, my 20 million, like I never will do that. And that's what it requires. So the kind of people who take out their 401k to put it in $500 Destined Rivals, 1 out of 1,000 of them will become a centimillionaire, crazy beyond your wildest dreams wealth, and the majority of them will just destroy themselves financially. That's more my opinion, but we are booming. We are booming. I was going somewhere else before that veering over to the Poke Plumber conversation, but no, I have a $250,000 line of credit that I utilize to most days I have multiple 6 figures in my business bank account. If someone calls me up, hey Dan, I want to sell you my $100,000 half pallet of Sword, Shield, Scarlet Violet, whatever it is, I'll just buy it. I'll just go and I'll wire ACH, I'll write a check, whatever it is, certified check. I will yeah, I'll just go buy it for cash. But 2 weeks ago, I had a $75,000 collection come in. I had a $60,000 collection come in. I had a $30,000 collection come in. I had a mega stream. That $92,000 that PK sold on Saturday night, that was all my inventory. That was $92,000. Well, ideally it was $80,000 worth of stuff sold at a premium, right? So PK had 80 grand worth of inventory for that one night, on top of what he has normally, on top of what Ponga has normally, on top of what's at my Fanatics, on top of what's at PSA, at BGS, at CGC. I have a lot of like irons in the fire. I have a lot of things going on, and cash flow, solely a cash flow thing, moving money around and smoothing things over. And the $250,000 line of credit is not and never will be, oh, hey, I'm going to go all in at 110% of market price. This set that's less than a year old, that's $500 a box. That's not what it is. That's not what it ever is. I won't even buy. Like, if somebody reaches out to me and says, hey, Dan, I have a $250,000 worth of Evolving Skies or whatever it is, I'm at 80%, 85%. I will buy it quickly. DC Sports, Golden, Heritage, eBay, wherever. I will send it everywhere, and I'll keep one. I'll keep one for free, and I'll sell the rest. That's what I've always done. I've always bought big collections, buy a $70,000 collection, sell off $60,000 worth of it, and keep the $10,000 for free. That's functioning what I did. So I'm gonna end there. My rants and rambles. I feel like there's a thing or two I forgot to say, but I want to start getting to your questions. If you have any questions, leave them in chat. I know I'm way behind. I will get to all of them, as I always do. But Monday's video I haven't recorded yet. Let me know what you want me to do in the comments. I'll note it down in an hour when I get to the current comments. Do you want me to do a video on the recent collections that I bought? I've had a lot of consultations lately. If anyone wants to comment, I'm not taking new consults until March. And my new rates, just so people know my new rates going ahead, a lot less people are going to want them, but that is by design, that is by necessity. $300 an hour. We are booming. I don't know why I was charging so little. I don't know why I allowed people to be grandfathered in for through the end of February, but that's what I did. $300 for an hour, $200 for a half an hour. If you want a consult starting in March onward, we're booming. We're booming. I've been here a long time. I have a lot of insights. I'm fine with, like, I would almost rather, if you're on the fence, I know I'm on the fence about everything, don't consult with me. If you don't know that it's going to be worth it, it's not worth it. Don't do it. But yeah, Monday, I've had some consults recently. Hey, I got offered this $50,000 collection. Look at the list of the collection and tell me what you would pay and tell me how you would flip it. How would you sell it? I think that's an extremely valuable bit of, like, I've done that for the past 12 years. For the past 12 years, I've looked at appraised big collections, figured out what I'd pay on them, and then I've figured out the outlets, and these go to Ponga, these go to PK, these get sold to that streamer, these get sold to this guy, these get sold privately on the website. Like, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that in a video on Monday. And well, in a video potentially on Monday. Let me know if you want that video. I will go over the $160,000 worth of collections that I bought recently. I will tell you what I paid and why, and I will tell you exactly where and when and how everything gets sold. It's not done yet. It's not done yet. So I won't be able to show you like the outcome. I won't be able to say I took 200 grand and I turned it into X. It's like, it's an in process, but I can show some of the preliminary sales, I guess, maybe. I see James in live chat, 300 an hour, too cheap. Honestly, it probably is, but I think it's expensive enough that I'll be able to keep up supply demand, and I don't think it will be the case, but I know people that charge more. I know people that charge more, and I know that I will be able to provide that amount of value to people asking the right questions in the right situations. It's people don't like hearing things like this, and the crazy thing is, it's $300 an hour for one-on-one. It's free right now. Ask whatever you want. It's $10 a month through the Patreon. I'm gonna go full show mode. Pokenomics Patreon. I'm gonna go full show mode. If you want to pay $10 a month, and tomorrow morning, it is now Wednesday, tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. till noon p.m., 12 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be in a Discord voice call 4 times a week, 4 times a month. I'm available. So you get $10 for 4 hours of me in a Discord voice call. Sure, there's other people, but so consults are $300 an hour, one-on-one, me and you only. $2.50 an hour for Discord. Oh, Dan, you're evil. Paywall, $300 an hour. Who the hell do you think you are? $2.50 an hour. Every week, every Thursday at 11 a.m. Come find me there. That is a 99+% discount. Patreon is a 99+% discount. And you know what? You don't just get me, you get Jake. You get Jake from Pokenomics. So now $2.50 an hour comes down to about $1 an hour. $1 an hour for me and Jake combined, essentially, because you also get the Zooms. So it's $1 an hour. So $100 an hour, so $300 an hour, or a 99.7 discount for $1 an hour, or an infinite discount for free every week. I'm live right now on my channel. I'm live next week on PokeFlips. So people, it's funny sometimes to hear people whine about, I can't believe this guy, that guy, paywall, this thing, the other. Business is taking place. We're making money. Well, like, what are we talking? Like, we're making money. Step aside if you don't want to, and that's fine. I'm not saying that in a mean way. Like, it's fine. A lot of people, they just collect, and that's fine. But some people are trying to do business here. Step aside. Let them pay their $1 an hour for the Patreon. Let them pay their $100 an hour, $300 an hour to consult with people who are doing business. Yeah, so there's my rant on that. I'm going to start answering questions now, actually. The Patreon's there. The consults are there. Starting in March. They're backlogged through February because we're booming that hard. Is this where I can apply for a HELOC to buy Pokemon? Word is getting out. I have consumer debt. I pay $1.88 a month for the next 30 months on this phone. Consumer debt. I also have commercial debt. I also have my business. I have a business line of credit that I, what's it called? I'm the guarantor. I am personally, my social security number is the guarantor of that debt. So if I don't pay my business line of credit, they'll come for my house. They'll come for me personally. So it's, and credit cards are something I use too. The thing, I'll go a little bit more on the line of credit. When I buy deals at 70, 80, 85%, you can't pay credit card. Theoretically, I guess you could send PayPal goods and services and whatever, but like all the best deals happen with cash. They happen with a certified check. They happen with an ACH, a wire, a Zelle. They happen with actual cash. If you try using your credit card for that, cash advance, you pay 30% interest. I'm paying, I pay Prime +2 on my, Prime +2 on my line of credit. Actually, I just had, let me pull it back up. So I pay Prime +2. I put $150,000 on my line of credit about 2 weeks ago. I bought that collection. So I paid the $482.49. That is the interest. I paid $482.49 worth of interest. Plus, I also paid about a $700 origination fee for the line of credit. So I've paid about $1,100 to have that line of credit so far. But that $150,000 of liquidity and cash flow that it gave me, those $200,000 worth of collections that I bought in the past 2 weeks, I'm going to make 10% on. I will make $20,000 on those, maybe more. There were some amount of Destined Rivals in there. I might make 20% on $200,000. and it only cost me $1,100 in origination fee and finance charges and all that stuff. Credit cards, yeah. I have like 3 or 4 credit cards. They work for distributors, the fee offsets, the rewards. They work for eBay, TCG Player, whatever like that. But I don't buy on there that much. The best deals happen with cash. So yeah. $60 Destined Rivals booster bundles on Wally World. What a time to be alive. Ebb is out, flow is in. So I was memeing mostly when I said ebbing and flowing. I was talking up and down, which isn't really a thing with ebb and flow, but we are booming. We are booming. Line up to the right. Some just walk sooner. You said you thought it probably would. I don't remember what I was saying at 9:04 p.m. 43 minutes ago. I apologize. Again, as always, I'm an evil paywaller. If you want me to answer your question first, again, consults are $300 an hour. Patreon is $1 an hour, and here's free. If you pay 99 cents, you can jump your question to the front. Otherwise, I'm 45 minutes behind, and I might not remember. So does this make Sword Shield sets a buy? Those sets are looking nice at the moment. I mean, if you close your eyes, and I'm going to describe 2 sets to you. I'm not going to tell you their names. Pretend their names don't exist. So let me pull up. I don't know when one was released. So I'm going to tell you 2 sets. So set 1. You have one of 2 options. Choose A or B. Set A. Set A was released in February 25th, 2022. Set A is turning 4 years old in 3 weeks. Set A is 4 years old in 3 weeks, and set B in 3.5 months is 1 year old. Dollar for dollar, pound for pound. And so to go further too, because like some sets are really good and some sets are really bad. To go further than that, let me go a little bit further. Set A has a Charizard. Set A has a Charizard alt art. Set B, you know how many Charizards set B has? 0. Set B has, I mean, Mewtwo. Mewtwo is no slouch. Mewtwo is no Charizard. So, set A, 4 years old very soon. Set B, later than that is 1 year old. No Charizards. Which one are we taking? I'm taking set A all day long. It's got a Charizard. It's turning 4 soon. That thing's going to pre-K this fall. Set B, you're still changing diapers. Set B, you're changing diapers. Set B's not walking. And people are buying set B right now. Let's so for those not playing along at home, set A was indeed Brilliant Stars. Set B was indeed Brilliant Stars. Brilliant Stars sold 3, 9, 12, 19 since January 12th. So Brilliant Stars is selling less than a box a day the last 30 days. Destined Rivals, 16 just in the most recent window. 57 in the window prior to that. So Destined Rivals is selling more, and it's still got poopy diapers. Destined Rivals still has poopy diapers, and people are falling over themselves to pay $600 for it. That to me is lunacy. But like, and this is the ironic part. Technically, I'm out here. I'm a YouTuber. This is what I have to do, right? Technically, I'm out here crying about it. I was gonna say, ironically, I'm not sitting here crying about it. I don't care. If the market values something more than you do, sell to it. If the market values something less than you do, buy from it. If I had 20 cases of Destined Rivals today, I don't. I only have 4, and they're on the pallet, so I can't touch them. I'm not allowed to. I promised you guys, so I won't. I'm not going to break my promise. If I had 20 cases of Destined today, I would sell all of them immediately. And I would buy Destined. Sorry, I would sell Destined at 99 to 100% of market. Today's price, tomorrow's discount, rocket emoji, blah, blah, blah. And I would buy 151, and I would buy Crown, and I would buy Brilliant at 85%. Dollar for dollar, pound for pound. I would actually take one. The prices are 1 to 1 right now. $5.55 for the buy box. I would take my 20 cases of Destined and I would end up with 21 or 22 cases of Brilliant. That is insane. Will Destined outperform? Maybe. But like, we'll see what happens. I think Sword Shield is an amazing buy relative to Destined Rivals specifically. Early SV, I like that more. But I'm not gonna be right on everything, as always. eFootball Pete has 5 UFO booster boxes for $30 free shipping. Time to invest. I would not invest $30 at a time. It takes a long time to move any amount of money. He was selling pallets. He was selling pallets of 600 UFO for like $1,200 or something. So I would have done that. I have Destined Rivals booster boxes and I still say who cares. Just bought a case of Destined for $5,000. Oh man, bought 3 cases of Destined for 3.8K each, paid sales tax, and I am utilizing 96.2% of my 28% credit card. Am I doing this right? Oh man, every part of that is making me die inside. I hope it's I hope it's the meme that I think I know it is. Dan and I made a video trying to defend you and I got crushed in the comments. Surging Sparks is going to surprise people. Surging Sparks is an interesting one. I think SV1 through SV5, SV6 are pretty safe, relatively speaking. They're not 100% safe, but I think they're significantly safer than SV7 through ME, ME2, and beyond. But Surging Sparks is on that interesting border where Surging Sparks is what kind of sparked it all, right? Surging Sparks was the first box to be at MSRP on launch day, and a day or two later, the weekend of launch, it was like $180 a box. It was not at MSRP for very long. But given that it was there a little bit, they might not come back all the way to Surging Sparks. Hell, I know this. They might not be able to get back to Destined Rivals. They might not get back to Destined Rivals. By the time the printers come online, 2027, 2028, they might be on Mega Evolution, whatever's after Mega Evolution. They might just forget about that long dark period from 2025 January until 2027 January or whatever. Yeah, the market can definitely remain irrational longer than you can stay sane or solvent or any of those things. We've got Mr. Quilly Bull cards in here. Quilly Bear cards. Bear, that's a bad word. That's the B word. We don't use that B word. 2 B words we don't use. The only B words we know are boom and bull. Leave bear at home. Leave bubble at home. We are bulls and this is a boom. The other words need not apply. It's February 4th and I have a $250,000 business line of credit. What should I buy? You should buy a $250,000 collection, of which within the next month, I think the next month I am bullish. I'm very bullish. I have a $250,000 line of credit that as of this morning had 150 grand on it. As of this second, it is paid off, but it might be charged up again. It might be charged up again next week. It might be charged up again before Monday. Who knows? Who knows what collection is going to be in my inbox? I hope it is, but you should buy a $250,000 collection at 80%, and you should flip 90% of it, and you should retain some amount of profit and some amount of sealed profit to just free roll with no cost basis. So I have the willpower to not sell my 4 cases of Destined because 2 aren't mine, 2 are my dad's, 2 are mine, and they're out of sight, out of mind. They are physically not on my premises. The pallets do not live here. The pallets intentionally are inaccessible. I'm not going to touch them till 2030. I made that promise. I told my dad if he he doesn't owe anything to YouTube, right? I do. And I think I owe it to myself too. I had like short plastic, long cardboard, talk, walk, all that thing, all those things. I had a thesis. I had a thesis in May of 2024 that those things were too cheap. I had a thesis that what I did over the past 10 years, being too bearish, being too paper-handed, I had a thesis that I was going to do it again if I didn't force myself to stop. So that's how the pallets were born. It's nothing about willpower. It is, I have designed my business. I've designed that whole thing in that way to force myself to diamond hand. I think I'm going to be heavily rewarded. It is crazy to look back on that video. I said some price targets, and it's gonna be so fun to recap it. But yeah, we're crazy. Red lights must be getting close. Dan has the deer in the headlights look right now. Bought my first tax-free box with my new shiny TPT license. Something to do with tax. All because of your advice. Much appreciated. Yes, I hope that that item is intended for resale. But if you are buying items as an investment, inherently that's what investing is, right? It's not buying and opening it over some IPs a year later. Investing is buying, holding, selling at a later date. That is intent for resale. That is supposed to be sales tax exempt. So I love this comment. Thank you, Timo, for following up. And now, depending on where you live, your money is going somewhere between 4 and 10% further. So say you went and over the next year, say you buy 20 cases of various products. Now, instead of getting only 20, you can actually get 21 or 22. That additional 5 to 10% of product, that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Okay, somebody jump the line. Huyan Collectibles. If you're on the fence and just need confirmation of your thought process and ideas, do the consult. Appreciate you, Huyan Collectibles. I assume I'm fine saying this because I saw Huyan mention it a couple times, but I did a consult with him earlier today, and yeah, just like a sanity check. He's a guy who go check him out. I'm gonna actually link his I'm gonna link his YouTube. He is he's crushing it vending. He's crushing it on YouTube. Little bit like back and forth, not super consistent over the past year or so, but he's firing it back up. And yeah, go check him out. Vending. Gonna actually be at Atlanta Collecticon. Hopefully I can say all that. Gonna be at Atlanta Collecticon this weekend. But yeah, let me scroll back up and keep taking every question as I always do. Plumber called you too, LOL. He must have been yeah, he must have had some job going on where he had the ability to chat for a bit. Yeah, you definitely don't need to buy every set. You don't need to swing at every pitch. Destined will be in print for 2+ years. And a lot of people will, oh, Krabby's cards. Yes, it will be. But maybe not the booster boxes. Who cares? Who cares? I'm not emotional about having to have every product. The products are a means to an end. Sure, I love all this stuff. I love Pokemon sets. But I'm not going to rip a $600 booster box. Those pallets are wholly investments. Those are intent for resale. Those are not PC. Those are not going to be ripped by me someday. I don't care what's on it. The only extent to which I care is what ROI it delivers to me. It is what my CAGR is, my compound annual growth rate. Those are the only things I care about. And negative 50% is not good. Negative 50% is a bad thing to see. And I don't know what the odds of Destined going down 50% are. But I know they're higher than that of 151, than that of Crown Zenith, than that of Brilliant Stars, than that of Silver Tempest, Astral Radiance, Evolving Skies, any of it. The odds of Destined Rivals going down 50% or more are significantly higher. So that's my thesis. And like, people care more about it than I do, which is wild. I don't know. It's weird. Smart and safe wins the race. It depends on, and that's one thing I say too. We're all in the same arena of Pokemon. We're all playing very different games. Everyone's situation is different. Everyone's personal household, everyone's family situation, everyone's business, everything is different. Everyone's situation is different. I'm optimizing for me. You optimize for you. We all have different expertise, and we all have different experience, and we all have different abilities. We all have different, all these things. So put your chips on the table and play the game. Let's talk about blackjack, actually. I love blackjack. I know, and this is like blackjack, but I'm the dealer. It's like, I'm the dealer. It's plus EV doing what I'm doing. I'm not like sitting at a table bleeding out money to the casino, to the house. But in the casino, some morons at the blackjack table, you hit a 16 on against a 5, you're not supposed to hit against a 16 against a 5. And they get mad and, oh, you changed the whole deck and I got my truck payment to worry about. And those are not made up things. I've heard that before. I've seen people get mad at what other people are doing at the table, which it's funny because like if you're playing, I played a pitch tournament this weekend. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the live stream chat if you've ever played pitch before. I don't know if it's a Northeastern thing or what it is, but it's a very fun card game, high-low jack game. I played a tournament, round robin, 6 teams, went undefeated. And then I played another game and we won that too. Random draw partners, I didn't even know the guy, but I was actually kind of related to him. Wife's side of the family. But anyways, where I was going with that is people get mad at other people changing the odds, and people get mad at things that when you shuffle a deck of cards, it changes the entire game of pitch, but it also changes nothing. It changes everything, but it changes nothing. Just like in blackjack, if somebody hits where they're not supposed to, sure, the next card, you get a card you wouldn't have gotten otherwise, but mathematically, it's still the same thing. Mathematically, RNG is still the same thing. Nothing changes. Everything changes, but nothing changes. The amount of people who get so worked up and get so mad at what other people are doing that don't affect them whatsoever, it's very negative EV. It's very wild. I have the YouTube channel. I have to come on here and I enjoy it. I don't get much socialization in my line of work. So this is my socialization. So I engage with it in a positive way. I even though I sound like I'm getting fired up, and I'm genuinely having a good time. I come back for more every other week on this channel. I come back for more every other week on PokeFlips. But yeah, I love that. I love that about blackjack. Seeing people stay on 16 against an 8, seeing people hit a 16 against a 3. If people like ask, if people like look for like, oh yeah, like the book says you're supposed to do this, but I don't get emotional. I don't get fired up. I know what is going on there. I know what's and if somebody thinks Destined Rival, where I do get a little bit like so if somebody at the blackjack table was saying, hey, you have a 16, they have a 4, you're supposed to hit your 16. Like I would step in and I would say, hey, the book actually doesn't say that. Mathematically, that's actually a negative EV. So if you think Destined is a good buy at 500, 600, I frankly don't care. But the second that you start making a YouTube video where you guarantee that it won't do XYZ, where you guarantee that it will do XYZ, that is where I actually care. Because like people were doing it 5 years ago. And like, I don't know if Z is still in here or not passively listening. Who cares? Who cares? Like, I actually care. I hated hearing 5 years ago people guaranteeing that Vivid wouldn't go under 200, and then it did. And then ultimately, James comes in with his GIF from Jurassic Park. See? Nobody cares. Like, there are channels around today that were around 5 years ago guaranteeing Vivid wouldn't go below 200. And if and when I'm right, if and when these sets do go down a bunch and become available under MSRP, I will do some I told you so's. But like, some amount of the people who said it will go away. Some amount of them won't, and nobody will care. Nobody, like, very few people will care. Some amount of people will care, but most people won't care. It is what it is. Yeah, someday, maybe I shouldn't say it, but I guess I'll just say it because I don't like teasing things and then playing secrets. But he did tease a few months ago. He teased a podcast. He teased man, what was it called? Clever name, and really cool thumbnail, really cool design that someone had done for him. He didn't say a date or anything, but he said it's still on his mind. He still wants to do it someday, and I look forward to the day if that ever comes. I will definitely be a listener, and hopefully someday I may grace the presence of the pod as well. He is so he's a plumber by trade, obviously, by his name. He is a collector, investor, speculator, whatever you want to call him, at a very high level. He go check out his channel. He made some videos recently where he bought like a Dragon Frontiers box recently, and that's insane. I pulled up my archives. I bought my Dragon Frontiers box that I opened for like $1,200 in December of 2016. So we were talking about Destined Rivals, we were talking about Dragon Frontiers, we were talking about 10 years ago, we were talking about a little bit of everything. It was a nice chat. I got a booster box this weekend at 75%. Is it a safe hold till they announce 30th, whenever that is? The 30th has already been announced. The 30th is happening like very soon. Pokemon Day is February 27th. So like short term, if you want to speculate on it going up a few percentage points, like whatever you want to do. I never tell people what to do. I tell people what I do and why. But like if I can make a good margin today and I can flip that money into something else and something else, like I generally keep money moving. The pallets only exist because I have more capital. I say this ironically. I had to get a line of credit because we're booming so hard that like I don't quite have the capital that I needed to take down some of these collections. So simultaneously, the pallets to some extent could be argued are holding me back, right? But the line of credit is something that allowed me to propel forward in spite of the pallets, if that makes sense. Cosplayers can tell the future. The what people know rant is top tier. Everyone is so smart in hindsight. Yeah. People are very bad at conflating outcome with correctness of decision, and they'll never stop doing it. Very few actually put their money where their mouths are. Yes. I'm only here for the RuneScape references. 99 cents to pause your rant is cheap. Yes, super cheap. Yeah. Shout out again to Kuyan's Collectibles because he actually he scalped himself. He only had to pay 99 cents and he paid $4.99. He paid 5 times MSRP. So MSRP for cutting the line is 99 cents. And Kuyan Collectibles, I hope I'm saying that right. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but Kuyan Collectibles, he scalped himself. He played himself. He paid 5 times MSRP to cut the line. We are booming that hard that people are paying 5 times MSRP for cutting the line. People, I mean, hell, people are almost paying 5 times MSRP for Destined. That is 5 times MSRP for Destined booster boxes is $800. They might be that before their birthday. Honestly, like if you have any, I will buy them at 80%. I probably won't pay 85 on them. I'll probably buy them at 80% and I'll YOLO them to DC Sports. I'll hope they go up in the meantime. They might go down in the meantime, but I'll YOLO them to DC Sports. I'll take the gamble. I'll cash you out. I'll pay friends and family. I'll pay ACH. I'll pay Wire. I'll pay Zelle. I'll pay certified check. If you're within a couple hours of me, drive to me. Then check and drive to you. I'll pay you cash in a duffel bag. $100 bills. So let me know if you want to be cashed out on your investments. Yeah, 92K in 8 hours on the mega stream is $192 per minute. We were hitting it hard. Any advice for a new Pokemon creator on YouTube? Been posting videos for 1 week so far. Not sure the direction of the channel. I just like talking Pokemon to anyone who will listen. I would say do just that. Consistency is key. And don't overthink it. Just do what you enjoy. Put it out there. There's a chance that you do it for a few months, a year, and nothing really catches on or whatever. But there's also a chance that it pops off. There's a chance that it pops off. I'm going on 5 years on YouTube, and I don't have 10K subscribers. I've built my entire business isn't built off the back of my YouTube. But in spite of having sub 10K subscribers, 5 years after creating a YouTube channel, and obviously I've been around 12 years. A lot of stuff predated my YouTube channel, but I'm doing business at a high level. I had $7.5 million flow through my Chase account last year. I have a $250,000 line of credit right now. I have hundreds of thousands of dollars on pallets stored in a warehouse right now. And the YouTube channel is some portion of that for sure. So yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. Enjoy it and see what happens with it. Recency bias is definitely a thing. Who wants to make the what box will make 10K first? Destined Rivals versus Brilliant. I think Brilliant will be the first to hit 1,000 and 2,000 and 5,000 and 10,000. But I also know that Destined Rivals might. And funny enough, like this is where it's interesting. Due to sheer momentum, the volume is so tough. Destined Rivals could hit 1,000 before its birthday. It absolutely could do that. I think the odds. So maybe I take that back. Maybe I think the odds of Destined Rivals hitting 1,000 before Brilliant is actually higher. If one of them were to hit 1,000 within 6 months, as crazy as this is to say, I think it would be Destined. Not Brilliant. But if they hit 1,000 in more than a year, I think it's Brilliant doing that. I think it's Brilliant doing that first. Yeah, pull a radar, match the dealer on a $500 match the dealer, paying out 14 to 1, $7,000. Paid $12.50 for the case of Destined. You love to see it. We are booming. Nice little clean triple up almost. That's AI. I can tell. AI. I don't know what's AI. I'm still 30 minutes behind chat. The real shocking situation is Dan financed his phone. That's where you lost me. So if anyone, the uninitiated, I used to have an S22. Whatever the newest one is, that's what this is. I went to Verizon, and they told me, like, I had to finance it. But for $50, across 3 years, I asked them, can I pay $50 cash? No, you have to finance it. They gave me a $800 phone for $50 because I've never bought a new phone through Verizon. So it was like a one-time sweetheart deal. They hope that I'm gonna do it every time, but no. Normally, what I do is I buy a 2-year-old phone on eBay for $200, $300, and I run it for 2 years, and then I sell it for nothing, or I keep it as a backup. But since I bought a new one, I'm gonna run this thing for like 4 years now. I'm gonna run this for 4 years, and then I'll buy the best phone I can buy on eBay for like $300, like I always do. I don't get a massive amount of value between a new phone and a couple-year-old phone. I don't really care. The only reason I did it is because it was $50. I felt like I couldn't not. I'm a Pokey 6-figure holder. I bought when no one wanted case of Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet for 500, max 600. Some even under 500 for sets like Scarlet Violet Base and Obsidian. Yeah, that's me too. May of 2024. That's when the pallets were starting to be constructed. That's when people should generally buy, and I don't know when. I'm confident we will get in the vicinity of that again. There are so many people that think we will never go under MSRP again, ever, on any set, ever. Forever is a long time, my friends. Forever is a long time. 30 years. 30 years of Pokemon's history. Every single box. People love to say, look over the past 30 years. Every single box is up. Every single box is above MSRP. So that is one point in time. That is looking at everything in one point of time. The thing that I push back with on that, if you take 30 timestamps, Pokemon's first anniversary, second anniversary, third anniversary, if you take timestamps throughout all 30 years of Pokemon's history, this is the one timestamp where every box is above 200. This is the one timestamp ever where every box is above 250. That has never happened before. So people say 100% of sets are this or that and the other thing. What I push back with is 95% of Pokemon's history, boxes have been under 200. And additionally, 95% of the sets Pokemon has released have not only been available under MSRP, but they've been available under 100. So people, like, I think, and some people do it because they're stupid. Some people, frankly, do it because they're kind of dim, they're kind of dull, they don't know what they're talking about, they have no clue what's going on. And then some people do it mischievously. Some people do it with malintent. Some people do it to mislead. Some people do it to, but most people, I think most people aren't doing it with bad intent. I think most people are doing it because they just don't know any better. Ignorance, honestly. Irrational exuberance, if you may. But who the hell cares at the end of the day? I don't like the thought of people ruining themselves financially, but a lot of people have made themselves very, very rich with all this too. So at the end of the day, it's like, who the hell cares? Everyone's an adult. I'm doing what I think is best for me. You do what you think is best for you. I'm very confident that I'll never be out on the street. And some people, frankly, will be. Some people destroyed themselves in 2021. Some people ruined themselves financially. And some people will again sometime soon, I think. It is what it is. That was me. Last October I started and I bought a ton of Japanese and it more than doubles extremely quickly. Then I diversified like crazy and over leveraged myself. Hey Dan, I quit my job a while ago and went TCGs full time. I have employed a full-time streamer working for me now. It's awesome. Never looking back. The last few videos of quitting your job really helps. I love to hear that. That's awesome. We are booming. There are so many people on the fence going full-time soon, actually going full-time soon. It's crazy. It's crazy out here. We are booming. I used my inheritance to buy 20 Chinese exclusive Mews. That's one of those comments that, like, I don't know if that's real or not. Just marry rich. DCA in, DCA out. Deep dive on taxes. Man, I'm jealous of your business model. Anyone can do it. My model is tried and true. I've been doing it since 2014. I started with $5 grand. Anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. Start with whatever you have, and who knows what it could become. If you had told me 12 years ago that mine would become well into the 6 figures paying job, a several 6-figure job income, net income, and a 7-figure, near 8-figure handle turnover, GMV, I wouldn't have believed you. But yeah, it's crazy. Dan, so you're telling me that by the end of 2026, I might be able to use a portion of my 151 bundles to pay off my student loans? Definitely could be a thing. I love the hobby right now. Dan is a Pokemon genius, a cardboard savant. I think I'm... Despite people calling me a bear, despite people saying Dan doesn't know what he's talking about, look at the guy's haircut. How could you take him seriously about anything? I am going to cut my hair relatively soon. It's cold up here, though. It has been so unseasonably cold in upstate New York. This weekend, the highest high all weekend is like 5 degrees, and the wind chill is like -20 or something. It's crazy. But no, I wouldn't go so far as to say genius or savant. I'm sure those are memes, but I think I'm a high 90, like 98th, 99th percentile operator in the space. I'm doing this at a very high level. I've heard funny things over the years. I've heard people say, "Oh, Dan's out of touch. He did this, that, the other thing. He can't relate anymore. He can't do this or that." Okay, like whatever you want to tell yourself, but I still am doing most avenues of the business that I've done. I still have good insights on all of them, I think. And one thing that I made a note on too, that I'll probably do as a video at some point, but this is like a random thing that I thought about at one point. Most of what I do, most of the GMV that I'm doing today, most of the net income that I'm generating today, someone else is making money too. And if you put yourself where you're just selling to the end consumer, it is expensive for the end consumer. This will definitely be a video at some point. But right now, most of my business, when I make money with streaming, PK's making money, Ponga's making money, Spat's making money, Sky is more the TCG player, eBay, but Bierski and Grimer are making money. When they make money, I make money. Us together, we make more money together. Like independently, PK could have streamed. Independently, Ponga could have streamed. But teaming up with my sourcing, teaming up with my capital, my cash flow, teaming up with all that, they make more. They also have access to Fanatics Live, which they wouldn't have alone. Spat, Grimer, Bierski, they have access to better rates on eBay Live. They have access to the platform in general that they wouldn't have access to together or independently. So most of what I do today, I'm making money while enabling other people to make money. If I sell a $600 Destined Rivals booster box to an end consumer, if I make a one-time sale, sure, you can make a bunch of money. You can sell $600 and make $400 profit because you paid $200 however long ago. But that costs the consumer $600. For me to make a bit of money, say I'm just making up numbers here, but say our average margin on the streams is 15%. Say that I'm making half and PK and Ponga are making half. We can sell a lot of money, and we can both take a percentage of that. And the end consumer, Instant Rips is more a good demonstration of this because they can sell it back for a high rate. It doesn't cost them as much. But no, I feel like I'm starting to rant and ramble about a video I'm going to make in a few weeks. The scalability of it all. The CGC Fanatics. I utilize my relationship with Fanatics. I utilize my dealer account And I can grade your cards with CGC Fanatics for cheaper than anyone else can, and I can sell them for rates cheaper than anyone else can. So I make money while you're making money more than you would otherwise yourself. And I think a lot of people don't realize it, but I think a lot of people have relationships and ways to create relationships, ways to create win-wins. Maybe it's with your LGS. Maybe it's with your local Facebook Marketplace community. Maybe it's with whatever it may be. But I think a lot of people have these opportunities to create win-wins that they don't think about, that they don't pursue. Kind of like a rant that makes almost no sense to tie into this, but somehow my mind went to it. It is on my list too. I saw that. I listened to the Fake Collector Investor, whatever their podcast is called, Ern and Johto Jake, and they had Quilly Bull cards on. While he was live on YouTube, he was looking at the Suicune from Shining Fates, I believe, and he bought a couple of PSA 10s. That was hilarious. But that's a good demonstration of like what you should do. I hope he's not paying sales tax on those items intended for resale on eBay. I hope he has a sales tax certificate. But if you think the market is undervaluing something, you should more want to buy that. If you think the market is overvaluing something, you should more want to sell that. And Ern's been around for a while, and he's made some different plays over the years, and I think he probably has a pretty good eye for stuff like that. You're not gonna bat 1,000. You're not gonna get them all right, but the asymmetric upside, that whole thing that I talked about in my recent video. If you get more right than wrong, and sometimes when you get it wrong, you might lose half your money. But when you get it right, you might 10x your money. The asymmetric upside does massive things for creating a positive EV. Finding places to sell with the lowest fees is the toughest part for me. Where's the best place to sell in your opinion? That's the easiest part. DC Sports 87. They net out 96% on items above $1,000. They net out 97% on items above $5,000 or $10,000 or something. Yeah, and some people will pay it and some people don't. So either way is entirely fine. Let's see. I learned about Prime Plus from Ocean's movies. What does $400 an hour get me? Oh, man. Mewtwo ain't no Charizard, indeed. Would you sell me a case? I don't really sell to the end consumer these days. It's all business to business. So I do not generally sell. I do have a little bit of wholesale packs on my website, but that's really all I do. And I require a minimum order of 750 booster packs. Continuing on. What were your biggest growth barriers when you were primarily operating as a reseller in the low six-figure range in terms of annual revenue? Major hurdles to overcome aside from buying power. So buying power was definitely one of them. What were my other biggest growth barriers? As I always say, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, but like frankly, my job was a growth barrier. I was stuck working as a chemical engineer for 40 to 50 hours a week. This is not meant in a negative way. I intentionally had both of my two children, but like at one point, a bottleneck, a barrier to growing my business became my children, right? At some point, I had 2 kids, I had 2 mortgages, I had 2 jobs. I was a chemical engineer, and I was a side hustling Pokemon business, and I wouldn't and couldn't shed the children. No desire to do that. They are priority number 1, priority number 0, as they should be. But I shed my job. My job became a bottleneck. So I don't think that's the way in which you're asking. That's the cheeky way in which I answered. But the biggest growth barriers were like my own capacity to photograph and list, and the amount of auto listers that we have now, the amount of automation we have, the amount of people like me who buy your stuff at 80, 85, 90% of market, the amount of consignment options. It is obscene. It is disgusting. The amount of people who like, and it's fine. I'm not saying it in a bad way either. But like the amount of people who insist on selling their own $100 slabs on their own eBay. Like, kind of what are we doing here? Why are you selling an $100 slab, $200, $500, $1,000 slab on your own eBay to build your brand when you could just sell through ZNG Emporium? You could just sell through Catch 'em All Collectibles on Fanatics and do no work and net out 90-95% plus. Like a lot of people are their own biggest barrier. And I further than that, Fanatics, I have the CGC Fanatics. Let me actually put that on screen so I can flash it from time to time. But I have the CGC Fanatics that one of my bottlenecks even today is time. One of my bottlenecks is pre-grading cards and grading cards and photographing them and all this and that. And CGC Fanatics does that for me. If you want to pause it, here is the process. But for $8.50 a card, you can grade cards through me, through CGC Fanatics, and they can be auctioned on Fanatics. You pre-grade them, you send them in penny sleeves, they get auctioned 4 to 5 weeks later, and you net out a very high portion. You don't even pay grading fees up front. I pay the grading fees up front. $8.50 a card, cheaper than CGC Direct, cheaper than CGC Fanatics by yourself. Like, the amount of people who are their own biggest barrier because they won't consign. They won't leverage my brand. They won't leverage James's brand. They won't leverage DC Sports' brand, and they get in their own way. Blows my mind. Because 10, 12 years ago, those weren't options. You couldn't consign stuff for 95%. For one, there were barely any cards that were selling for above $1,000. Illustrators and PSA 9 and 10 base first Charizards were some of the few ones, right? So I talked a little bit about my barriers, and I talked about what most people's barriers are, frankly. Let's see. Yeah, if you go back, the video is still there. It was like Pokemon investments to hold 5 years is what I called my pallet video. I should go in and edit pallet into the title. I'm actually gonna do that while we're live. We'll do it live. I'm gonna add pallet into the pallet investment video because I tell people to go back and reference it, and it's hard to find, kind of. Yeah, I'm gonna just add pallet video 1. Pallet video 1 of the series, basically. Go search my YouTube channel after this live for pallet video 1, and you'll see the comments. You'll see that, like, me setting back $500 cases of Scarlet Violet, people were like, they looked at me crazier than people look at me today when I say Destined could go to MSRP. That is how crazy it was. It's wild. It is so wild how crazy people get on both sides. When cases are cheaper than boxes are today, people want to sell them all. People don't want to touch them. People want to run away. And then when boxes today are more expensive than cases were then, people fall over themselves to invest in it. It's crazy. Continuing on, when is the boom starting? We booming. Where's the green light? We got the blue and orange lights. Oh, I see you're. I'm gonna jump down to live. So John, I'm just not set up for it right now. We could do the old school thing I've done in the past. We could do a Discord call. If I was in StreamYard, I would drop you the link right now. But I'm in OBS, so I would have to do Discord. I would have to figure out desktop audio, all that stuff. On the fly, it's just not easy. Let me float it out there now. We are booming so hard. It's wintertime. It's cold. A year ago, I actually started doing, from October of 2024 to about May of 2025, I did weekly personal live streams. Let me know in the comments. Should I go back to weekly live streams? Further than that, so this week is not a PokeFlips week. Right now, as of today, as of the past several months, I've been doing a personal live, and then the next week I do a PokeFlips with a guest, and then every other PokeFlips we do a guest, no guest. But if people would like that, maybe I'll consider it. But what about me in between Pokeflips, if I go with a guest, and then the week of Pokeflips, I go solo. So I'm proposing now into the ethos, and John could be my first guest. I apologize, John. I would actually like to have you on, but I don't want to stay up super late. I feel like if I have you on, I'll probably be up for 3 more hours. But let me know in the comments. Do you want me to go weekly? So next week I would probably skip. I probably need to go 2 weeks without it, because in 2 weeks we're going to the water park. Brad says daily streams. But it would probably start the week of February 25th. So Pokeflips is next week. And then the following week I have like a week off for vacation from Thursday to Monday. And then, but yeah, potentially starting in late February. Maybe I could start doing these in StreamYard. If I was in StreamYard right now, I could send the link to John. He could hop on, boom, side by side. It's just a mess. It's just a mess to do it through Discord. So yeah, maybe coming soon. And one thing that I've not done either, I don't think I'm a good interviewer. I miss John's old content. I miss Retro's old content. I think Pokemon Wonder, one of the best interviewers in the space. I miss all that content. I'm not a good interviewer. I don't think, frankly, we have 141 people watching right now. I think I have a lot of insights. I think I have a lot of things to share. But I'm not a good live streamer. I'm not a good YouTuber. I'm not a good interviewer. But one thing that I would love to do, we do guests on Pokeflips. I would like to do guests on here. I feel like I wouldn't do people. Maybe this is a bit of imposter syndrome or whatever. But I feel like I wouldn't do a guest like John justice. I feel like I take kind of the lazy way out, and I just let Chas ask me questions, and I just rant, and I turn the lights red, and I do all kinds of ranting and rambling. But if I had John on, I would want to have some like good questions, and I just don't think I'm good with that. You are correct. You're not a good interviewer. Let me know if you'd want me to have Helga on, Helga Patakian herself. Maybe we could have Brad G Cards on. But yeah, and I went on with Alex, and Alex was the one interviewing me. I go on to other people's channels all the time, but I don't really host people aside from Pokeflips. Maybe I'll start doing that. I'll have to give it some thought. In 2 weeks, I'm off for the week. I will still do the consignments. I'll still do the buy list. I'll still do all that. Or buy list, I'm gonna skip for a week. But coming out from the week refreshment at the water park, I'm gonna contemplate doing weekly live streams, and I'm gonna contemplate doing guests. Actually, part of the reason too, I'm double dipping on Wednesday the 18th of February, 2 weeks from tonight. I'm actually gonna be live, and I'm actually on. They're live right now, I believe. Jar Chomp and Oyama, they're live right now. I'm gonna be live in 2 weeks on the midweek Machamps, and shout out to the midweek Machamps. I don't know how this would be the case, but if you've not heard of Jar Chomp Collectibles or Oyama's Collectibles, they are both doing business at a very high level. Vendor POV type content. Jar Chomp's a full-timer. Ricky's a side hustler right now. But they're doing business at a high level. And they have all these like very cool names, and the Elite Forecast. They have Clefumbles. They have all these different like segments, and theirs is a good actual podcast. I don't think I have the ability. I don't think I have the energy or the drive to do that. But I would love to do guests on my channel. So the potential late February onward scheduling will be every Monday at 1 p.m. That will always be my my pre-recorded video. And then I'm proposing Wednesday night. Every Wednesday night I'll be live. One Wednesday it'll be me. That week that we have Pokeflips. Thursday it'll be me and Nick. Wednesday it'll be me. Thursday it'll be me and Nick on Pokeflips. And then the following week, where there's no Pokeflips, it'll be me on my channel Wednesday night with a guest. It'll be maybe someday I'll get Pokey Plumber and Alex, and maybe someday I'll have Jar Chomper, Oyama. Maybe someday I'll have some of the guys in here. Maybe someday I'll have John. Maybe someday I'll have Z&G Emporium. Who knows? Who knows what it would be? But and maybe it wouldn't be Wednesday nights though. Maybe it would be during the day. I do value my nights. Actually, my wife, we missed each other this week a little bit. I wanted to hang out with her, play some board games, watch a movie, whatever. On Monday night, I think it was, but no, last night. Last night we talked about hanging out, or I asked her if she wanted to hang out, and she had grades that were due. So it's like, okay, you're working, I'll work. And then she had forgotten that I had she asked me earlier, like, hey, you want to hang out tonight? I have my live stream. So I don't want to lose all my nights once the kids go to bed after 9. Like we hang out a few nights a week, and we work a few nights a week, and over the summer we tend to hang out more. We tend to do stuff more, but 9 p.m. if the kids are, we have the kids, so it's not like we're going out on the town when the kids are sleeping. But a lot of ranting, rambling, but a little bit of the potential future of the channel, I guess we covered there. Continue asking your questions in the chat if you have them. I'm going to answer them all. I'm still a ways behind live chat, especially after that long detour. Had the opportunity to pick up 4 cases of Destined Rivals back in June and haven't looked at them since. 2030 is a long time, but the ROI will be longer. Hold. I have 4 cases that I'm holding on the pallets. Other than that, though, any of the ones that I get short term, instantly selling. If I will buy Destined right now for 85% of market, 85% of market, and I will instantly consign it to DC Sports and try to make a little bit of money. For those who consider Dan bearish, this is how a responsible person with an online platform behaves. Too many uneducated people out there that are easily swayed. Yes, it's scary. It is very scary. If you buy and open the box with the intent to sell the cards inside, that counts, right? LOL. I mean, you're memeing, but like if you mass break boxes for singles to sell the singles, to grade the singles, absolutely. Like unironically, yes. Yes. If you intend to sell the singles, yes, that is allowed. You are allowed to buy a box, rip it. If you get destroyed, you get destroyed, but you don't pay sales tax on that box if the contents are truly intended for resale. And they might be intended for resale, and you get destroyed and you lose all your money because you pull nothing good. And yeah, that's a valid use of sales tax exemption. Absolutely. Question, do you only put boxes on your investment pallet that are things you buy from distribution? Do you see better fundamentals in vintage cards over the very long term? So no, I 4 cases of every set at minimum, more if I have allocation, more if the live streams don't gobble them up. But I have put things I bought from the open market on the pallets as well. If I had to pick between $100,000 in vintage slabs or $100,000 in modern slabs, I'm taking vintage slabs. Not everything, not wholesale buying everything vintage, but certain specific things I like more than other things. I'm not a software developer. I used to be a chemical engineer, but now I'm a full-time Pokemon dealer. So when I open a pack of Pokemon, I have a 50-50 chance the best hit in the set is in there or it ain't. Sounds like good odds. Yes, 50-50. It either is there or it isn't there. There are 2 outcomes. You will get one of the 2 outcomes. 50-50. Don't play blackjack with Danalytics. Got it. Don't own 1 English pack. Am I doomed to be poor forever? Am I a loser? Invest. I mean, if you don't have any Destined Rivals, what are we even doing? I mean, everyone knew. Pokemon Steven, where have you been? Everyone knew this was the evolving skies of the era. Everyone knew this was going to be $600 8 months later. Yeah. I'm interested to see what they have for this Pokemon Super Bowl commercial. I saw that earlier in Discord or Instagram or wherever it was. But yeah, Pokemon has 5 years ago, 25th anniversary, they did a Pokemon commercial. I think 10 years ago. Didn't they do a Pokemon Super Bowl commercial with Mewtwo in Times Square for Pokemon Go? So I think this will be, I'm going to Google it quick. How many Super Bowl commercials has Pokemon done? I think they've done 2. 2. Super Bowl 50 in 2016. Yep. Train On to celebrate the 20th anniversary. Maybe that wasn't Pokemon Go. And then, oh, maybe that was the only one. 2 major Super Bowl commercials with a 3rd one confirmed to air in 2026. But then the two that it lists are Super Bowl 50 in 2016 and then Super Bowl 60 this year. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it's gonna be though. I'll buy you a beer for an IRL consultation at an event. Yes. So we talked about the hierarchy of fees, and I mean, if you're within earshot of me, 2 a.m. at the bar over IPAs, an IPA, a single $8, $10 IPA will get you will get you some Dan ranting and rambling, and frankly, like that might be the most transparent I ever am. The lips definitely loosen up a little bit over some IPAs. So yeah, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. over some IPAs and Domino's Pizza late night in the lobby, in an Airbnb. That's where the best consults happen for sure. How's your experience been consigning with DC Sports, considering sending them stuff to try out? It's been fantastic. It has been amazing. They have a super clean back end. They have they tell you when the package has arrived. Let me actually show. Not affiliated. I'm a happy user of them. Not affiliated, but yeah, just someone who uses them. Very, very happy with it. So here's the back end. You can see your cards, you can see your submissions, you can see how much money you have available, you can see how many active listings you have. I took like a 2-week period where I didn't send anything to them, but you can see what's currently being processed. Nothing to scroll down to apparently. But yeah, down here, the last 3 packages, I guess I won't show my tracking ID. But yeah, if I click request payout, they actually do an instant ACH transfer. I literally click request payout, and I have the money within seconds or minutes. So yeah, really clean, cool back end. I know like Alex shouts out Arizona TCG a lot. They're a sponsor of his channel. I've never used them, but similar to Arizona TCG, DC Sports has like a really clean back end. Let's see. I'll pay off your personal line of credit for your beard secrets. I'll cash you out. Anyone want to cash me out? I can't be cashed out on the pallets. I have to hold them. Any interest in doing a live review of my new website? Maybe show the group what not to do when building an online-based business. LOL. Was a major learning experience for me. Might help others. See, that's the kind of thing that like I would rather do if I had you on, if I had you call in my every other week thing in between Poke Flips. I'm not gonna do it tonight. I don't know if you're asking about me doing it tonight or in this potential future, but yeah, that's the kind of thing that could be an interesting thing to do in an actual like one-on-one future live stream. I've always enjoyed. I've gone on the Alex's channel multiple times. I've gone on the Retro's channel multiple times. I'm going on the midweek Machamps in 2 weeks. I've been on dozens of different channels over the years, and I've always had a great time. Poke Flips is kind of what that is. Poke Flips, we have guests, but I should be better. I should be better about getting guests on here periodically, and yeah, maybe we're gonna do that coming soon. Dan, the only person I know that puts Coca-Cola in a protein shaker. I wanted it on ice. So Brad G, a fellow milk drinker, super weird thing to talk about on a live stream, but here we are. I usually drink a tall glass of milk with my dinners, and I taking cups out of the dishwasher yesterday. I cracked one of them. I stacked them. They're not cups that stack well. They're glass. They're like 20-something ounce cups, and I broke one. So I threw it away and didn't think anything about it. I apparently broke the other one too. I put it away in the thing, and I was drinking. I was halfway through my glass of milk with dinner, and the glass is like shattered. It didn't. No pieces broke off. They didn't break apart. But I was drinking out of a broken glass. So I have more glasses, but for whatever reason, I just I poured it in here because I wanted a lot of ice. This is actually bigger than my my glasses. I can't put a lot of ice in those glasses if I put. So I don't have a can of Coke. I have a pint of Coke. I have a 16-ounce Coke. So that's the whole story behind Coke being in a protein shaker. Something interesting is how the bottom fell out on the Destined Rivals staff cards, large pops on all the 10s, but supposedly the best set of all time. I don't really speculate in like stamp cards too much, and that could just be a horde that got released by somebody through somewhere or whatever. Who knows? I think once the new printer is up and running, we're going to see whatever is still in print have a drastic decrease in price due to a market flood. That's why I'm leaning towards Sword Shield or early SV. That's where I'm at too, but like, yeah, we might miss some sets. We might miss some, right? Yeah, appreciate you, Galaxy. Galaxy was a big buyer on the mega stream. Thanks for the big spend in the mega stream. 17 likes is crazy. Hit the like, y'all. Let's see what we're at. Let me refresh and see where we're at for likes. So Pokey Fun said that 30 minutes ago. We now have 21. So Pokey Fun got 4. Now I'm going to say hit the like. Let's see how many likes we can get. Let's pump that number up to 50 likes. We have 124 people in here. We've got to do 50. Pump that number up. If you want Destined Rivals to go to 1,000, hit that, smash that like button. Question, I'm still holding heavy bags of ETBs for Champion's Path and Shining Fates, about 6K market price total. Should I sell to move into something better or keep holding? If I sell, what should I buy? That is the kind of question that I never answer. I never tell people what to buy. You should buy whatever you think will achieve your goal. If your goal is making the most money, buy what you think will make you the most money. If you're cash basis, you can sell those and you can rebuy into something else with no taxable gain. If you are accrual basis, if you sell those, that registers into your cost of goods sold, and you rebuy something else, you still need to pay gains. You need to pay taxes on those gains. So consider everything. Consider your fees. Consider any taxes you may pay. And me personally, what am I buying on net today? The question I will answer, Dan, what are you buying today to hold for the long term? I'm not buying $600 Destined Rivals booster boxes. I'm not buying Champion's Path ETBs. I'm not buying Shining Fates ETBs. I would buy them. If I bought 6K market price total, I would buy all those. I would buy all those for $4,800. If you want to sell for 80% easy cash out, no nonsense, Zelle, ACH, PayPal, friends and family, I'll cash you out 80%. What am I buying though? I'm buying Scarlet Violet, early Scarlet Violet cases. I'm buying 151 packs. I'm buying Crown Zenith packs. I'm buying Sword Shield cases. Should you buy those? That's not for me to say. I'll tell you what I'm buying and why. I think those will do well over time. I'm not buying Destined because I don't think that will do well short to medium term. People gassing Dan up again, shaking my head. Someone humble him before I do. If you've never sold before, can you still buy with the intent to resell / not pay sales tax? Yes. There are ways to do it. If you're, this is actually a frequent thing that I've got. If you are only buying, yes, you can buy with the intent for resale. You can buy 100 grand a year for the next 10 years without selling anything. But what you can't do, you can't make a 300, as far as I understand, there might be ways to do this that I am just not privy to. You can't buy 100 grand a month for the next 10 years, or 100 grand a year for the next 10 years, I meant, and offset. So you live in LA and you're just buying this and putting it into a warehouse. You can't offset your 50% marginal tax rate on your $400,000 IT income, right? You need to pay full income tax on your income, buy with after tax money. But yeah, you can buy without paying sales tax, and then you build up over 10 years, you build up $1 million worth of spend. That's now your cost basis. That's now your cost basis whenever you ultimately start selling, and you'd only pay taxes on the gains, right? So yeah, there are ways to do that. It is definitely something people are doing, but you can't be a collector and say you're buying with intent for resale when you actually don't have the intent to resell. Definitely need to be careful to not evade taxes. Avoid, don't evade. Avoid legally. Question, what do you think about relatively low percentage for loose packs compared to booster box in the Sword Shield era? Fusion Strike are like 50% of booster box price. Side note, loose Lost Origin are same price as Fusion. I like them as long as you can trust them. Big caveat. You need to buy ones that are not scaled or piped or whatever, CT scanned. So there's a big disclaimer. There is good reason for some of that, but there's not good enough reason for it to be 2x in my opinion. So I'm a net buyer of Sword Shield loose packs for the streams that I can trust. Oh, I didn't catch this one. I would have put it up on screen. Radar, if you're still here, Pokemon Steven will go live with you right now. Let me check Pokemon Steven's channel. Maybe they're live. Maybe me declining Radar, which I feel bad about doing. Nope, he's not live right now. Pokemon Steven, Radar, why are you guys not live? Get going. I'll actually, when this ends, I'll raid you guys. Go live right now. I'll end in the next 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and then I'll raid you guys. How much barbecue sauce is being stored in that beard? If I ate barbecue sauce today, there would be a non-zero amount stored in this beard. I had steak for dinner, no barbecue sauce. I had a little bit of pork belly too. We had leftover night. So Tuesday we had tacos. My wife and kids had, no, my wife had a burger. My wife had a burger from one day. My kids had tacos from Tuesday, and I had steak and pork belly from Monday. So we had a little bit of everything going on tonight. So there's a non-zero amount of steak, maybe some salt from the steak. There's some stuff in there. Let's see. Who will Timmy be rage baiting if not Dan Weekly? Everyone here taking investment advice from Dan should take relationship advice from Dan. Question, do you take out the little metal springy ball thing out of the shaker before you pour soda in it? Yeah, when I bought this day one, I took the little ball out and I recycled. I think it was plastic. I think I recycled it. I don't use it as a protein shaker. I just use it as a water bottle. I like these. I have a few of them. Question, if you were planning a wedding right now, would you divert and buy Pokemon instead for the same amount? No, I think people go crazy with weddings. And everyone is different. Everyone has different goals. Everyone has different blah, 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 blah. But I'll tell you a little bit about my wedding for those who care to hear. I got married to my lovely wife in 2015 after a 1-year engagement. We got engaged in 2014. 1 year later, on our 1-year anniversary of engagement, we got married. Just worked out that way. It was a Saturday. We got I think it was a Saturday we got engaged, and then a Sunday we got married. Or no. It must have been a Friday we got engaged, and a Saturday we got married. Let me verify quick. But at the time we had a house together. We had some yeah, it was a Saturday. At the time we had I had a fledgling Pokemon business. I had 80 grand in mortgage debt. We had no student loan debt. We had no automotive debt. So we had 80 grand in mortgage debt. We probably had I started with Pokemon with 5K in 2014. We probably had 20 to 25K of inventory between Pokemon and Steins and video games and coins, other things that I was doing at the time. And so our net worth was maybe probably towards 50 grand with the cars and everything. So 50 grand net worth. We spent $6,000 on our wedding, and we had the cash. We had that much in a savings account. We had that much ready to go. And it was probably an $8,000 wedding. I think my parents paid for the DJ, and her parents paid for the wedding dress, and so we had some gifts that were included in that. But we did about an $8,000 wedding, and we had a blast. I have attended $100,000 weddings. I have attended $800 weddings, $1,000 weddings. The amount of spend is not proportional to the amount of fun that I had. The amount of fun that I had generally has to do with the people that are there, having some decent food, and honestly, like, burgers and hot dogs are decent food. BYOB is acceptable, depending on who you are, where you're at in life, and finances and all that stuff. I would go to a bring your own beer wedding, pop up a tent in the backyard. Like, I've been to a lot of fun weddings, and some $100,000 ones were very fun. Some $100,000 ones were very stuffy and like too hoity-toity fancy. Like, this feels a little bit weird or whatever. But so I think this is very much a personal thing. I think weddings are one of those things that people get really silly on. I think a lot of weddings are the ultimate cause of a lot of divorces. I think a lot of people stretch their finances very thin, and then 5-10 years later, after being miserable, all the fighting for years, and finance being a big part of that because they went into debt to finance a wedding. That blows my mind. That stuff blows my mind. I'm sure anecdotal, tons of people out there probably financed a wedding and they're the happiest, most lovely couple, lovely kids, all that good stuff. But just not for me. Not for me personally. UAP put me on an unexpected wedding rant. But yeah, we spent $6,000 on the wedding, and we spent $6,000 on the honeymoon. And I think all of our gifts and everything included about paid off, not both, but independently. They either paid, I think we got over $6,000, maybe a fair bit more. I can't even remember. But the gifts were enough to pay for the wedding, and then we paid for the honeymoon. Or the other way, the gifts were enough to pay for the honeymoon, and we paid for the wedding. So it wasn't plus EV to get married, but it was almost break even. Like we did well. And my choice of bride, very plus EV. Gave me 2 amazing kids. She's the CEO of my corporation, and we're booming. We're booming in Pokemon. We're booming in the spousal situation. Booming on all fronts. Would you recommend buy Evo Skies booster box for 2,300? I will never recommend specific things. I don't know. Is it crushed? Is it torn? Is it ripped? Is it an ugly box? Is it a clean box? I don't know your situation. Would I buy one? Let me look at what they go for. Oh, I still have TCG Player here. So Evolving Skies on TCG Player is $24.60. Market price. Last sold is... It's not a real number. It must have been 36 loose packs. But I wouldn't pay 2,300. 2,300 over 24.60 is 94%. I would probably try to pay closer to 2,100, 85%, somewhere in there. And I would pass. If I'm not getting it for 85%, I would rather buy Brilliant at 85% or Fusion at 85%. Or I'm able to spend a lot of money at 85% of market. So I almost never pay above 85% because that's just that's too much for me. Thoughts on base jungle fossil values during Pokemon 30th anniversary versus 2029 English 30th anniversary? For me personally, I can do so much more between now and then, and Pokemon doesn't celebrate it that way. Pokemon does the 30th on the Japanese 30th, but Pokemon, maybe they'll do some slight nod to it, but Pokemon doesn't really do like a 30th English anniversary. That's not really a thing. But yeah, Basic is here. We are booming. Basic is back out here. Question, how's the health journey going? Thought you cut out sugar soda. I've been being bad. We are booming so hard that I am not doing a morning workout routine. I am being very, very naughty. My kids actually took a break. They did 2 consecutive swim classes at the Y. While they were doing swim class, I was playing racquetball. I was running on the treadmill. I was doing something. They wanted to take a season off, and we're gonna get them back on it in the next couple months sometime. But we haven't been to the Y since they took a break. We need to get back there though. Hello, Dan. Usually I can't catch you live, but today I'm here. Question, what do you think would happen to prices of stocks across the board if our fiat currencies underwent hyperinflation? That's a big question. That's a very large macroeconomic question. Hyperinflation is very, very no bueno. Hyperinflation a la Hungary had it at one point, Venezuela had it at one point, the Germany after the war, Zimbabwe, I have $100 trillion Zimbabwe note somewhere. I don't know enough to say what would happen. I think a lot of things are priced in USD because it is the reserve currency of the world. If and when the USD underwent hyperinflation, you would much rather hold Bitcoin or Pokemon or stocks or anything but USD. The values of those things in USD would go astronomical, but that's not the price of those going up as much as it is the price of the USD going down. If and when we would navigate our way to some new currency. We would take on the euro. We would take on the yuan. We would, I don't even know how, if I'm saying that correctly, the Chinese currency, yuan. We would sort something out, but I don't know what that would look like because I'm not smart enough macroeconomically. It's wild that people think the new print facility is the end all. This assumes it's built to print more Pokemon. Also, that's if construction isn't delayed due to permits, state, county inspections. People really need to quit thinking this will be the saving grace, and that's if it isn't delayed. I mean, I could go either way with this. I think some people worry about it too little, and I think some people worry about it too much. I think I'm here worrying about it to the proper amount, and I'm not worried about it really at all. I'm not worried about it at all when it comes to the Sword Shield and the early SV that I have, which is most of what I have. I hope it allows me to buy stuff for some sane, rational price again. I hope it allows me to buy stuff for not only under MSRP, but under 150, under 140, under 120, hell, maybe under 100 someday. We'll see what happens though. Let's see. If you're reselling and doing everything above board, keeping track of all buy sales, even if you're forced to pay sales tax, can't you file to get it back? I don't know if you can everywhere, but I know New York has that. I know I was talking with somebody in Discord who's doing that in Texas because TCG Player is a horrific website who can't sort out sales tax exemption. Yeah, the Super Bowl commercial will be interesting because what are they gonna say? Are they gonna go say, hey, go buy Ascended Heroes, go buy the new 30th set that we're coming out with soon, and then people go to their Target and they go to their Walmart and they go to their LGS and they do the John Travolta meme and they're like, the Super Bowl sent me here. There's nothing to buy. What's going on? What the hell's going on? I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do with that, but it's kind of dark to spend millions of dollars on a Super Bowl and then you try to point people, like they're gonna point people into, hey, go buy Destined Rivals, a set that should be $100 is $600. And this is actually a note that I put that I wasn't sure if I would get to it, but if you take this, what is happening right now? A lot of people are forecasting, hey, sets will never go under MSRP again. Sets will never this, and $1,000 boxes by their birthday, by their 1 year anniversary is going to be the new normal. The new normal. If and when this is actually the new normal, that's not good. This is the note. This is the note. This is the thing that I was talking with Plumber about that I talked about 2 hours ago that I couldn't remember, hour and a half ago. Investors need collectors. Collectors don't need investors. So at the end of the day, if investors get what they seemingly want, if sets never go available under MSRP again, I'm not one to buy into the whole game piece army, MSRP, blah, blah, blah. Think of the children. I generally don't buy into that, but this is not healthy. If Pokemon spends millions of dollars on a Super Bowl ad and people can't go to the store and buy product, not just Destined Rivals, any of it, you can't go and buy any of it right now. If that's a multi-year thing, if for the next 5 years, kids can't go and easily engage with product at MSRP, that is bad. If Destined Rivals goes to $3,000 within a year or two, and so does Mega, and so does Phantasmal, and so does Ascended, and eventually, a lot of people stop consuming. A lot of people stop collecting. Investors don't consume. Investors transport product from today into the future. And if everyone starts investing, and I know this is not the case today, but take it to the extreme. If in the next 10 years, everyone starts investing and people get priced out, I can't buy Ascended Heroes for $20 at release. I'm going to skip it. And then the next one, and then the next one. And every set is that. If every set is $500, $700, $800, $1,000 out of the gate, people will stop consuming and it gets dark. 5-10 years later, it gets dark. The day that people wake up and Pokemon's still printing like mad because the prices are going up and no one can keep up and nothing's on shelves ever anywhere. If no one's consuming at the end of the day, And I know I'm not saying we're doing that now, but if and when that happens, if every box only goes up forever, the appropriate amount to pay for an investment that can't go down is functionally infinite. If and when all these things come true, and I've seen some crazy things. I had somebody message me, DM me a thing. One of their buddy's buddy, talking about many 8 figures, many dollars moving into Pokemon investing and this and that. And if and when all the stuff gets invested in, investors find out quickly that if everyone's investing and no one's consuming, that's when you get Beanie Babies. I don't think Pokemon will become Beanie Babies, but that is what Beanie Babies was, and I don't want Pokemon to turn into that. So yeah, investors need collectors. Investors need consumers. Without the underlying consumption, without the underlying attrition, this stuff does not perform. If everyone's investing, it becomes the greater fool theory. The greater fool theory, deflationary, blah blah blah, less boxes every day. That works if people are actually consuming. But yeah, the consumption needs to be there. And the MSRP gang, blah blah blah. Think of the children. I'm not like actually crying about that, but at a long enough time frame, that does damage. If there are kids that for multiple years they ask for it for their birthday, and mom and dad and papa and grandma and whoever, they don't get it for their birthday because the only way they know to buy cards is to go to Walmart and get them, go to Target and get them. And they go to Sam's. Hey, they're at Sam's Club and they see, they hear about it being there, and then they get punched, they get elbowed by somebody, they get checked, and grandma breaks her hip trying to buy you cards for your birthday. Well, now you're never getting cards for your birthday. And 10 years later, 20 years later, you're not going to be nostalgic. You're not going to dive back in. Damage will be done to the IP, the franchise, the brand, if and when this continues for a long time. I think some amount of it's already happening. Some amount of damage is being done for the past 13, 14 months that this stuff has been crazy. I think Pokemon wants to sort it out. And I think they will eventually. Let's see. Brad had a $40 wedding. So yeah, weddings can be done quite cheap. Dan is still live. How's it going, L-Dubs? Scrolling back up. Once I get to the bottom of the chat, we're done. If you have more questions, leave them. We're in a race constantly. Collections can be bought on the treadmill. That is true. Yeah, that's a good and sad comment about the whole inflation thing. No matter what, the rich get richer and the poor go to jail. Inflation, hyperinflation, stagflation, deflation. No matter what happens, the rich win and the poor lose. It doesn't feel good saying that, but that is the truth. And if and when the USD was being debased, if and when we were being hyperinflated in like out of existence, it's not a fun thing to think of and say, but like realistically, we would probably go out looking for a fight. We would probably start World War III if and when our currency was being entirely debased and all that stuff. Not fun times. Hopefully eBay puts their commercial right after the Pokemon one. Is eBay gonna have a commercial? eBay Super Bowl commercial. I don't know if that's just UJB live show in San Francisco for Super Bowl LX. That would be wild, man. If they do one and they do like a QR code to eBay Live, Spat, Bierski, Grimer. If eBay is going to have an eBay Live commercial during the Super Bowl, go live. Do your Super Bowl thing, watch the game, but like just have the live stream on and just have something on the screen that says like, hey, we're watching the big game, but click the follow button. We'll be here. I guess run some passive giveaways in the background or something. Do you think with the anticipated future growth in Pokemon, do you think we will see the same ROI on boxes even though their starting point is higher? Same slope, different intercepts. I don't think so. I think what's happening is a lot of the gains are being pulled forward. That said, though, if we're printing 50 billion cards a year in 10, 15 years, we might we might, but it's a lot harder. I bought SV base. I bought Evolve Skies. I bought Evolve Skies for $100 a box. Anyone that wanted Evolve Skies could have bought it for 120 bucks a box. So people achieved a 20x. For people to get the 20x they got in evolving, Destined needs to go to 4 or 5 grand. I think someday Destined will be 4 or 5 grand, but I don't think it'll be as quickly as evolving hit 2,500. So a lot of the gains are just being clawed forward. A lot of the gains are being pulled forward, and I think the long-term ROI won't be the same. No. But there's a lot of room for them to not be the same, but still be very good, right? Two different things. That's not really an angle that I heard talked about much, but yeah, brand new print facility, brand new printers, brand new like things that cut them and round the corners. And will we see a massive change in the print quality for future sets? Will they print all the Pokemon on the brand new printers? And then, because Millennium Print Group is a wholly owned subsidiary of Pokemon, will they print all the Pokemon on the new printers? And will they print their other contracts on the old printers? Will the PSA 10 Pops become like One Piece, like Japanese Pokemon? That would be wild. I've actually never, that's a very astute question, Lucky. I've not heard anyone theorize as to a potential massive PSA 10 gem rate increase. That would be interesting. I would lean towards probably not. We've seen crazy shifts in gem rates over the years. Sword Shield Altars, Celebrations Classic Collection versus the regular Hollows in the regular set. Massively different, all within the same pack. I don't know exactly why or how that happens, but that would be wild. Let's see. Is there an example of underprinting or underproducing ever crashing anything though? Just curious. Oh, so you're saying like long enough time frame, underprinting. I think that's what so your argument might be here that Beanie Babies only crashed because they ended up overproducing too much. Had they just stayed limited enough, maybe they could have gone on longer. I'm not like a historian in collectibles. That's an interesting question, but I think generally speaking, most things eventually like overdid it. And I think in an environment like that, I think Pokemon would eventually overdo it. If everyone is investing, I think Pokemon would satiate that demand, try to get down to MSRP, and if and when, it's like a dual pronged thing. They 10x the print runs, the investors buy it all, and the price goes up, they print more, the price goes up, and then eventually no one's buying from the investors, the prices stop going up, all the product is there, none is being consumed, it all gets dumped on the market from Pokemon, from investors, from all that stuff, and then it implodes. So underproducing demand is not an absolute thing. Underproducing demand can be like supply. Demand can massively change very quickly, and in this theoretical doomsday scenario for Pokemon, if everyone's investing and no one's collecting, it would be Pokemon was underproduced until someday the final greatest fool bought, and then people realized there was no greater fool, there was no one to sell to, and now everyone, I've got 50 cases, he's got 100 cases, a Pokemon investment fund has 1,000 cases stashed away in a vault somewhere, and then everyone realizes together, race to the bottom, no new supply being made, but all this infinite product being available. So if that makes sense, I don't know, but has that ever happened? I think to some extent, like again, semantics, and I don't know the exact numbers, but I think Beanie Babies was that to some extent. Maybe they could have gone on longer if they produced a certain low enough amount for longer on. But yeah, I don't know. Interesting question though. What do you think contributes to the stand-in? What do you think contributes to the stand in line for hours to make a minimum wage buying small amounts of Pokemon? I was in Target and saw a bunch of people waiting in line and they all looked depressed. A lot of people, let me Google really quickly. What percent of people in the US make minimum wage? This says only 1% of people. What percent of people in the US make, let's say, under 12 an hour? This is 30% of workers in the United States make under $12 an hour. 41.7 million people make under $12 an hour. So when you give them, like, look at Destined. If you buy a pack of Destined, I know they don't have booster boxes of Destined at Walmart or wherever, but a Destined Rivals booster pack, Destined Rivals booster pack, $7 ish, $7.50. So if you catch a restock of Destined, well, if you catch one of Prismatic or 151 or whatever, the numbers get crazy. You can stand around hanging out with your buddy. You can be trying to catch a restock on your phone while standing in line. You can play Pokemon Go. You can play a game on your phone. It's like, if you're not doing anything else otherwise, and you have a chance to potentially make 50 or $100, that's as much as a lot of people make in a day. So that's what contributes to it. A lot of people don't make that much in their day job, so they try that. Yeah, I'm going until I answer every question, which I'm getting close to. Crushed, maybe not, but Subaru and Rolex are two brands that lost their spark and growth because of consumer irritation over low manufacturing. Is Supreme still a thing? I learned about Supreme a long time ago, and it's like this t-shirt brand that I think the t-shirts are nice, but they're like hundreds of dollars, and I feel like I heard someone talk about it recently in some podcast that I don't think they're quite what they used to be. And it's all artificial scarcity. It's all just intentionally underproducing things. And I think a lot of designer things are like that. And I think some of them persevere for a long time, but I don't know if any are forever necessarily. What's the correlation coefficient between TikTok brain and waiting in line at big box for Pokemon drops? R equals 0.8. It's probably high, but sadly, it's probably relatively high with making at or near minimum wage too. Some people have prospects of making a day's wage standing in line for an hour, so they do it. And it's the gambler. It's the gambler in them. Maybe they have to wait in line 10 times to get one hit that ends up being a day's worth, and maybe overall it's negative EV, factoring in the gas, factoring in the time. But it's like, if they weren't doing that, they'd be at the movies watching a movie spending money, or they'd be out, whatever, spending money. So they're not spending as much money, at least. Do you think 151 is worth holding in mass for 20 years? 20 years is a long time, but I'm going to hold some amount of it for quite some time. 20 years is so long, though. I don't know if I can say that. Dan to his independent contractors. Capture some part of that boom. With a long-term mindset, what do you think about with regards to buying niche scarcity, i.e. prize cards and things with a known low pop number, less than 5,000, versus just buying all new boxes and cases under market? I like some of the niche slabs and some of the niche promo cards, and historically speaking, I've owned victory rings, I've owned victory orbs, I've owned Pikachu trophies, I've owned art academies, I've owned a lot of cards that people have never heard of. I like them. Collector Dan loves them, honestly. I think they'll have a decent ROI in the years to come, but I just don't speculate heavily in them. I have much better access, much deeper access to sealed, so I go for sealed more than I do slabs like that. I haven't graded a ton of Mega yet. I guess I've graded a decent amount through the CGC Fanatics. But yeah, I think generally Mega is better than SV. How much print capacity is the 30th anniversary taking? No idea. Beard game strong. Hey Dan, thoughts on rolling older product into newer ones, considering moving Silver Tempest booster bundle cases into Phantasmal Flames booster bundle displays? Special sets in the SV era seem stronger long term. I don't love it. I don't love Phantasmal Flames. I don't love sets that are that new. I think Phantasmal Flames will be printed in mass in the coming years. So I'm not personally doing it, but I'm not telling you to do it or not do it. I'm just not doing it myself. And that's why. Dan, where will Crown Zenith packs be at the end of the year? I'm going to look up Crown Zenith packs right now to get a live. I keep forgetting I have them over here. Crown Zenith packs. Crown Zenith booster pack. 1777. I think Crown Zenith booster packs, a year ago they were 711, and today they are 1770. I think they will be 25. I think they will have a humble 40% return. That's my guess. I have a decent amount of it. Oh, Paldean Faiths. Okay. PF is Paldean Faiths here. I feel like that was an honest mistake. Phantasmal Flames is also PF. So I like Paldean Faiths more than I like Phantasmal Flames, but I don't love it. I think it's pretty similar price to 151. 151's a little bit more lately, especially. I like 151 more, but it's all a hierarchy. I like Paldean Faiths a lot better than Phantasmal Flames. I don't like it quite as much as 151 or Crown Zenith or Brilliant Stars or Astral Radiance, or I would keep the Silver Tempest booster cases personally. But that's just me. So yeah. But with that, I'm fully caught up on chat. I'm fully caught up on chat. Radar says, Pokemon Steven, I thought we didn't like each other. I'm behind on the stream. That's funny. Brad, when is your Netflix special on Dan coming? There we go. Experience Share and I, a year ago, we were very far off in our predictions. Experience Share's prediction was significantly closer than mine. But we're on the same page now, so that's interesting. With that, I have fully caught up to chat. I've beat you guys. One more question just came in as I was trying to close. If you keep asking questions, I will stay live. If you don't, I will stop. How would you recommend a small business grow their live selling part of their business? I've seen solid success, but I'm already getting burnt out doing 3 times a week for 2 to 4 hours of stream. Add in Instagram, add in a Discord community to it, add in YouTube highlights to it, add in as much as you can to the funnel. Maybe that will increase burnout. But yeah, I don't know what more to say than to we're booming. Grind a little bit harder short term if it's possible. But everyone's situation is different, and potentially look to hire streamers, look to hire independent contractor streamers as I have. I can't stream for 80 hours a week, but between PK and Ponga and Spat and Grimer and Beerski, we're pretty near 80 hours a week on eBay Live and Fanatics. The live chat is behind my question chat. If you had 2 packs in front of you and couldn't open one for the best hit, 151 or Ascended Heroes, which one you ripping? Ascended Heroes is better than 151 in my opinion. I haven't opened Ascended yet, actually. I don't even know a lot of what's in it. I know there's God packs. So I'd probably open 151. I'm a Kanto guy. So probably the answer you didn't expect or don't enjoy. In case you don't get told it often, we all love your live streams and content, Dan. We appreciate you doing these, or at least I do. I appreciate that. What happens if PSA introduces AI grading this year? I don't think they will. I think they have AI in parts of their process to help expedite it. AI assisted. I don't think they'll go full AI for years, if ever. But yeah, with that, I caught up with chat. I'm ending abruptly so that I can get out of this, so that I can go to bed tonight. Thanks everyone for being here. I very much appreciate you guys as always. Thanks Timmy McGee for the mutual appreciation. But yeah, as always, I appreciate you all watching.